Hi, Jamie. Welcome to Persuasion TV. How would I say again? Good evening to all in Asia.
Yes.
I
Manila,
say
Kuala
good
Lumpur,
afternoon to all in
Sydney,
the UKs and
Brisbane.
Europe. Yep. And of course, good morning to all of you in the Americas, right? Today we have a very special show because we got some special guests, but they're not Spurs fans. Basically, they are just another content creator in Malaysia, and their channel name is called Deplot Malaysia. And surprisingly, one is a Manchester United fan, and the other is a Liverpool fan. So
Ooh.
Liverpool and Manchester United. Yes, I understand, Jamie. I understand. Okay,
Mm.
so just let me bring them in, and of course, Shane is also in the back room waiting. Welcome. Hi, guys. All doing well?
Good eye,
All good.
All
That's
good.
good. That's good. All right. Just let me introduce you to Harry and Ram from the Prod Malaysia. Yes, another
Right, hi.
YouTube channel content creator from Malaysia, and of course, surprisingly, one is a Liverpool fan and the other is a Manchester United fan. And we call the for some of us, it looks funny because how you say that, mortal enemies.
Yes.
But no, it's good. You know why? It shows football first, right?
Yep.
No matter
Yep.
what you say,
Absolutely.
football is the most important thing. And of course, we have Shane from
Yay.
Australia, our regular
Tottenham.
on the show. Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's go and start off with Harry. Harry, just give us a short introduction and let us know how you fell in love with your club.
Well, guys, firstly, thanks for having us on the show. The both of us, we're excited about being on the show today, the live show today. Talking football, that's essentially why we started the channel, to talk football, to give a voice, basically, and an opinion to fans around the world, and to have an opinion of ours as well to share with viewers around the world. So, yeah, thanks for having us on the show. How did I become a Liverpool fan? Well, it all started I got to start like a novel, basically. It all started in the year 1995, I think, is when I became a Liverpool fan. I was about 10 or 11.
Oh, he's a baby.
Yeah, giving my age away there. Giving my age away there. So, yeah, how did I become a fan? I actually have a really close cousin of mine who lives up in Ipoh. For those familiar with Malaysia, it's about 2 hours north. And once I made a trip down to Ipoh to spend a weekend, a few days with him. And he was a big Liverpool fan at that time. So he had a room filled with Liverpool posters, Liverpool player posters at that time. And these guys look interesting. There was a Spice Boys posters. You had the guys like Robbie Fowler, McManaman, Jason McAteer, Robbie Fowler at that time, Stan Collymore. So yeah, and then I started watching a bit of Liverpool, and then I started liking the team. And my favorite player, believe it or not, at that time was not Robbie Fowler. Robbie Fowler was one of the good players, but I actually was a big fan of Jason McAteer at that time, the right back. I used to love him playing down the right. So yeah, and that's how I fell in love with Liverpool, and then I just carried on watching.
Wasn't McManaman in your time too?
Yes, McManaman as well, and he was obviously one of the players you loved.
Actually,
brilliant, one of the best wingers in the game, I think, at that time, along with Ryan Giggs. But yeah, so that's how I fell in love with Liverpool, and ever since then, diehard Liverpool fan, barely miss a match.
Okay, so there's no little banter between you and Ram about how Mr. Giggs has gone down a little bit of a crooked path.
Yeah. and Ram,
there's lots of banter.
Banter is good. And for Ram,
thanks, Eugene, for having us on the show as well. Just like Hari said, we're very excited to be on this live stream. So thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Eugene. Of course, Shane as well. Yes, how I became a United fan was somewhere similar to how what year Hari became a Liverpool fan, 1995, 96. So I was in Singapore. I was, not very into football yet. But when I started watching football, I loved the game. But I loved watching United because at that point of time, United were, flying very high. Of course, you had Cantona, you had Giggs, Beckham was coming into the fray.
Cantona was flying high with his karate kick.
Yeah, with his karate kick, kung fu kick.
Literally flying high, that one. Yep.
So when I saw that kung fu kick, I was like, I got to support this club, man. This is the only club who plays football and knows martial arts. So I'm like, So then it just became a dream. Watching them play, enjoyed them winning a lot of titles, and I think to me that was just the best team that I've ever watched. So happy to be a United fan. The right club, Hari, the right club, not your club.
Okay. Consider where you are at the moment. You're honored guests. You can wear out your welcome. Eugene has his big red button for big red clubs.
But
and
guys,
you're a little bit outnumbered.
Guys, okay. But what inspired you to start Prod Malaysia? Because to tell the truth, I've been trying to find YouTube content creators for Spurs in Malaysia, and I haven't even found one. And somehow or other I came across you guys. That's why I was surprised. Okay, we do have content creators for football in Malaysia. And what brought you to this juncture to do the channel? I know the love of football and to have the chats, and especially between a Liverpool fan and a Manchester United fan.
Opposites attract.
Yeah.
The love boat. Okay, right. Sorry. Copyright strike.
That's a great question. I'll let Ram start off with the answer, and then I'll add my bit as well.
Okay. So it was quite interesting, actually, to be honest, because both of us were childhood friends, Hari and myself. So we've always loved watching football games, especially United v Liverpool, and stuff like that. And then, of course, the pandemic last year, right? So this February, I received a call from Hari. Hari gave me a call, and he's like, Ram, we're stuck in lockdown. We're at home. Let's start a football channel. Let's literally start a football channel, and the rest is history. And I said yes in a heartbeat, because that's what I wanted to do as well. And so that's what we did. But the whole idea, goes around not just about United and Liverpool fans. It's for all football fans. So we have invited Spurs guests on the show a couple of times as well. We have a few. Yes, we have an Arsenal fan also who came on recently. And also we had Everton, West Ham fans are coming along. So we are trying to give people a voice, to talk about their club, why they love the club, and of course, just give their opinions as well. So that's the whole sort of story behind it. Yeah.
Apart from the team you support, it sounds like we're of like mind.
Sorry.
No. Apart from the club you support, we're of like mind in the sense of we can put our rivalries aside for the bigger debate.
Yep, absolutely. Friends off the pitch, rivals on it.
Yeah, that explains this. Some
battle scars there. See.
They're just late nights because of the time difference between when the games are shown and when we have to watch them. So.
Especially in Asia and Australia. Of course, the timings nowadays. I mean, if you go back in the 80s and the 90s, right, our football matches were like very sporadic, right, and information comes in quite slow and all that. In Asia, you don't even know what's happening with the transfer window. What's happening with all the other things that's going around. Right, but all of a sudden nowadays, right, with the information technology and all that, all so advanced, we are talking to people in Australia,
real time.
And hold on, real time. I'm bringing on one more guest, which has, been a very, very close guest, a friend of mine through this whole Spurs journey.
Hi guys. Hi guys.
Hello.
Hey.
Mr. K is Khalid, right? If Mr. K, you don't mind, I just let Ram and Harry know.
That's right. Yeah.
He's Khalid, and we usually call him Mr. K because he uses the moniker Mr. K on all the streams and all that. And he's from the UK. Yeah.
Yep.
So
he is our he has our great inspiration. He was the man who gave the chance.
Hi guys.
And,
it's good to see them. It's good to see a cross
Harry,
spectrum of fans here, which is like really nice to see. It's good to see the channel developing and maturing the way that it has been. And I like to see the fact that
me. Nah.
you're the heart.
Mr. K, somebody misses you.
Hey Aaron, how you doing, my man? How you doing? Yes. No, I've been away for a while, and yeah, I'm glad to be back. Whatever the reasons are, I went away. That personal reasons myself, unfortunately. But I'm glad I had a little break. I managed to get a little bit of a suntan as well. Be out on the beach, take the family out, and so forth.
Got a bit of a healthy glow there.
Trust me. I went to some sandy beaches. I didn't realize dust storms were a thing until I went to the Isle of Wight. But that's the strange thing right now because of this COVID and these lockdowns. Hi Wayne. Because of these COVID and lockdowns, we can't travel like we used to as a family, say to Tenerife or Spain or France or anything like that. So what we're having to do is we're having to go within the United Kingdom and then visit some of the theme parks or some of the attractions and things like that there. And our money is being spent locally within the local economy. Plus, our eyes are seeing the what's local, and that's pleasing to our eyes. And it's making us realize that why do we need to go so far away to enjoy ourselves when we've got beautiful things right here? The United Kingdom is a beautiful place, just like wherever you are in the world.
I recommend North Devon. I spent most of my childhood there. Westwood Ho.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the areas. Lots of good pubs and lots of good sunsets.
I was thinking to myself that you guys must have all experienced the same thing if you got families. Yeah. Whereby at some stage or another, you must have gone out there with your family. Or if you haven't, you're planning to. Economics are hard. People don't have the money like they used to. But we've got to take our kids out. We've got to take our family. It's not just them. I found out that I need to go out.
Yep.
All that stress, all that confusion that our clubs put us through, because I understand ESL is creeping back, right? Right. And if you love football and you love your club, then this must be probably the worst news you can possibly hear, that these these gangsters that have taken over these football clubs think so little of the repercussions of what they intend to do for the sake of money.
Yes,
and I think what I see here is beautiful. I see different types of fans. I see a Liverpool fan. Unlucky last season, mate. Unlucky. Unlucky last season. Honestly, that was terrible. I really wanted to see Liverpool fighting at the top because we weren't there. Someone might have been doing it.
We weren't there for a while, Mr.
You were top just before Christmas.
That's right. We were up in December.
No, but that's to be expected from Spurs. That's to be expected from Spurs, that at some point in the season or another, we will show our best. And then the expectation grows on you.
Yeah.
Then we start thinking, we're gonna win the league. We're gonna win Mars. We're gonna win, I don't know, an election in America. We're gonna win something. And then the reality comes in January, like towards December, and then we start going down. And then the reality of, I think Liverpool found out as well, that when you don't have the in-depth quality.
Thank you, Bob.
Absolutely beautiful people on the screen. So many gorgeous faces. I've pissed off a lot of you. Right, so Bob hasn't changed. Bob, get on there, mate. But what I was saying to you guys is
come on, Bob, I'll send you the link.
I think Liverpool kind of really saw this season where if you don't have the depth in squad, then come January, February, that's where it's going to tell. The legs are going to get tired. The mind is going to get frazzled, like, what to do in those tense moments. Your boring is going to, your football's going to start looking a bit more stagnant. The manager is going to start getting a little bit more worried, and he's going to stop promoting the youth.
Yep.
right? I mean, let's face it. Sorry, the gentleman in the bottom right, Ran. Well, what?
Yeah.
Oh, you're Man United. Yes, right. So we've got two guys here that come from football teams that should have incredible pedigree of youth.
Yep.
Pedigree of youth. Now you tell me.
We've got Harry. He's a young boy.
But listen, what we can do from each other is we can learn from each other of the realities of what our football clubs really face, right? And if you look at Man United, I think out of the lot of us, they probably got the next best chance. Because I think Liverpool, they were there, they needed to invest a little bit more, but they didn't do it. They really didn't do it. They showed that they were just as poor as us, which is shocking, right? Because, you expected them, after they spent 80 million or so on a defender, things like that, you expected them to carry on plowing through and investing and bringing some Galacticos into Liverpool and making it like the Liverpool from back in the 80s. Now, with Manchester United, they've actually done that. They've actually stepped forward and said, you know what, Sancho, you're with us. Who's that other kid that they brought in that we wanted to get our hands?
Varane.
Oh, what a player!
Or Bailey.
No, Varane is a beautiful. I mean, Varane was the Ramos replacement, the Casemiro replacement, right? He was the next generation of defenders coming in that were comfortable on the ball, big in the air, and didn't normally put their foot wrong. Very disciplined. To get disciplined defenders. So I see Man United. Now, Man United is missing one thing. They got Rashford, but the reality is Rashford's a winger. He's like Son. He's like Salah. Salah's not forward, right? So even Liverpool, they're missing this too. They're missing that star forward that we have in Harry Kane.
Not for long,
maybe we don't know. No, listen, guys. That was the oldest. No, that was the oldest joke for 5 years. Not for long, and he's still here, right? The thing is, not for long in any other club, but with Levy as your chairman, he finds a way.
He holds on. He holds on. Yeah.
Unless you're going to pay the top dollar, and right now, does any team really have top dollar?
Not
really top dollar. I think COVID has sent a message to the accountants of all of our clubs and saying, you can't do that right now. You have to wait till next year.
Sorry to jump in there, Mr. K, but I think City still have top dollar, isn't it? They're throwing 100 million at Grealish. They're throwing 100 million pound at Jack Grealish. You've got to have top dollar, I think.
Can you throw 100 million there and throw another 130, 50 million on Kane in one season?
Financial fair play.
Financial fair play gone out the window.
There's no financial fair play this season. But the problem with City now, right? Their old case for the financial fair play, the shit is floating up again. See, that is going to make them panic. And that's why. Oh, sorry. Oh, we passed 15 minutes. Who cares?
It doesn't matter. We should just generally have a practice where we should be able to control our words to such an effect and still show our passion. If we can't allow people to put swearing inside the chat, we shouldn't be swearing ourselves. End of. Correct?
Correct.
So what you have to do is exactly the same thing that the people in the chat do. You have to say effing or disturbing or something else to replace it. I think we have to be controlled a little bit because just as footballers are icons to wannabe to the young boys and things like that coming through. We also, because we're putting our faces out there, we're becoming people of public, we're public faces, and we have a responsibility and a duty to conduct ourselves in a responsible way, unless it's a nutty show, in which case you can do what you like. But the reality is,
in context of what I used the word just now, right? It is the actual literally using, that is floating up, and they are going to get in trouble if they get sanctioned, right? For the next 3 or 4 windows, they can't buy any players, right? They're going to splash the cash now.
Yeah,
Grealish is coming.
Can Man City risk not being in Europe though?
No,
I don't think so.
Nothing can risk that.
But the problem right now is this case against M City, right? It's not the European case. It's not a European case because their European case was covered, settled.
Premier League.
This is the Premier League going after them, so they don't care. And M City wants the Champions League. That's the only title they haven't got their hands on, and they're going for it. So they need Grealish.
Oh,
and they need
I
Kane.
hope they
Stop
never
the
win
same.
it. They never win it.
Oh, go figure. Go figure. I wonder why.
I hope Man City and PSG never win it. It's the only thing that both of them want.
Okay,
Jane,
Mr. Black.
Just gonna ask Harry if what his thoughts were on Van Dijk coming back this season. Is he going to be as good as he was before the injury?
I think so.
I think he will,
so.
but I think he will because it seems like he's. I mean, from by all accounts, from reports coming out of the club, at least, he looks fitter than ever. Very successful surgery. He looks really fit, ready to go. He played 20 minutes the other day. I mean, a bit rusty, and it'll take time.
Yeah.
I think he's not going to start in the league. They don't have him earmarked to start in the league till about September. So I think they're going to give him time to get. Yeah, to sort of.
Do you think he's going to be happy when he meets Pope again? I think the studs are going to. I think he's going to go for one of those, the corners, and he's going to definitely make sure his elbows are sticking somewhere in the next man's face. I think that was a. I don't know how. I don't know how. I think Liverpool fans are probably the most. I thought they would have gone mad at what he did, because he took him out.
Yeah, we
took him out hard, bruv.
Really mad, but we couldn't do anything about it. I think. As you said, it was a shit season for us. We were really unlucky. We lost Van Dijk to an injury, Gomez to a season-long injury, Matip for about 5 months at the end. That's 3 out of 3 centre-backs, basically. We had to play kids at the back. Fabinho, who was an emergency centre-back, he got injured for 3 months. Thiago got injured in the same Everton game with Richarlison, if you remember that tackle.
Listen,
Listen.
Thiago deserved that. I'm sorry, but Thiago deserved that. I wanted to see Thiago play his best type of football now he's in the Premier League. And the first thing he did, the first game he was in, he went straight for Kane's foot and ankle. And I thought to myself, is Liverpool resorting to those type of tactics in order for them to win a match? And I thought to myself, they must be in trouble. Because teams like Chelsea do things like that. So if Liverpool are doing those type of tactics in order for them to try to win or hold on to a game, that means the allure of how good they are is gone. And that's when I started looking at Man City and saying, that's the team that's going to win it, not Liverpool, because it's class. And if Liverpool weren't showing class, they started to do the Man United thing, the Roy Keane thing. Go in there, kick the crap out of the opposition, right? Yeah, the Ramos thing. And normally clubs that do that, go on.
Let me just jump in there, actually. If you look at the stats, and I think it was the same last year as well, the last 4 seasons, I think the last 3 or 4 seasons, they have the Fair Play Award in the Premier League. The team that wins the Fair Play Award, at least yellow cards, red cards, etc. Liverpool have won it for the last 3 or 4 years running. Yeah. So I think, so I think that just says it. Jurgen Klopp, the team, they're generally not a scrappy team. I think Thiago came into the league with the wrong.
If you do that in this league, you're going to break a leg. Yeah. You're going to break a leg because in 9 times out of 10, whoever does those type of things is putting themselves at risk, and they haven't learned the pressures of the Premier League, which is a very aggressive type of league. You're constantly going to be running out. You're going to be getting tired in the 75th minute. And if you look at a lot of the goals that come from pressure situations, they come in the 75th minute and beyond. And that's generally when the game is decided. If you can't win the game, that's normally when Man United back in the day, that's how they used to win. They used to win in the last 10, 15 minutes because they kept that reserve. They would hold out the opposition. They come and attack us. Come and attack us. You're not getting through. Your defense kept you strong. That's where I think Man United probably needs to kind of up their game a little bit. Their defense is a one-man team. It's a one-man team. And I'm sorry, but, it seems to me that Liverpool took the lead and advantage some years ago by getting Van Dijk. And I think the other teams didn't do that. Other teams should have done the same thing. The big teams like Man United, the Man Cities and so forth, right? Yeah. I think
I still don't think Maguire is a good defender. I mean, I'm still thinking about why they spend. Why is he spending 80 million for a defender? So I'm just glad that now finally they got Varane. So hopefully things could change this season.
Mm-hmm. No,
so you're gonna play Varane and Maguire?
No, that's why during the Euros on the Spurs channels, right? We were already talking about Maguire because playing for England, right?
Yeah.
Whether he was world class or not. right? So, like, of course, now if you have Varane, right, next thing is that Varane has to prove that he can adapt to how you say
The Premier League.
the Premier League,
Premier League.
right?
Yeah.
Hold on, guys. I've got one more guest to bring on. Just hold on. Hi, Tommy.
Hello.
How's
Hi.
it going, guys?
Hi,
All
Tommy.
good?
Good afternoon, Tommy.
How you doing, Shane?
Tommy's
Mr.
frozen.
K, I haven't seen
Tommy's
which is Mr. K. What's going
Good,
on,
Tommy.
man?
Tommy, man, it's good to see you. I had a hiatus and I've come back with a suntan.
Oh man, it's good to see
Let's
you.
call it
Good to see you, bro.
Tommy, just to introduce you, Harry and Ram.
Hello.
Tommy.
All right,
see you,
okay,
but,
yeah, I haven't seen you
Harry
for
and
chat.
Ram, yeah.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Of course, I didn't even say Man United and Liverpool fans, huh? Man United and Liverpool fans.
Yeah, manager United fans.
Yeah.
The channel is called The Plot Malaysia. So we've been saying, how did a Manchester United and a Liverpool fan get together to start a football channel? That was an interesting story, but
yeah, I'm going
of
to
course
be doing some neutral.
Of course,
as well. I love having these.
and Tommy, yes, if you get in touch, Ram and Harry, if you get in touch with Tommy, right? Tommy does a lot of neutral shows in the UK.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
so he can introduce more Liverpool content creators and all that. Yeah, so it's a good link up. You see?
Yeah, I've got
fans,
some. I
yeah.
do a lot with the Red Sea. I do a lot with the Red Sea
Red
podcast.
Sea, yeah.
Okay.
They're really
All
good.
right,
They've got a chap on there called Thiago's father. He's very, very good.
Yeah, he's a very good guy. I like him.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like Thiago's father.
You can
Southern
link up
Scouse
and have chat there.
Go on Twitter and follow him.
Definitely,
He's a very, very good guy.
Definitely.
He's opened up a channel as well. And I do follow. I've been away for a month, wherever it is, but before I went, definitely Thiago's father. Top bloke.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Definitely check it out. You know, thanks a lot.
Definitely
He's always willing. He's always willing to come on shows as well. He's always willing to help people out and come on shows. So yeah, definitely get in touch with him. Very good.
Awesome.
Sure.
My dirty little secret is that I follow Gary Lineker on Twitter.
Oh,
Gary
Lineker.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy on Twitter. He's just brilliant.
I mean, that's when he spits out the truth. He spits out the truth on Twitter. He can't do it on TV, but he does it on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I used to follow him on Twitter as
He's
well.
all
I
Leicester though,
his
isn't he?
posts about the world. Yeah. It's very, very true.
Very cheesy.
Yep.
He's going to be covering the La
Tottenham,
Liga
does he?
the next season, I think.
Well, it's his saving grace, the fact that he was a decent Spurs player.
Yeah, he was quite a decent Spurs player.
He doesn't care about Spurs, does he? He doesn't care about Spurs.
Now he doesn't. Yeah, he's more a Leicester guy now.
He's Leicester
right?
through.
Yeah, he's more Leicester guy. He's turned more into a Leicester guy. Okay, guys, as I was saying, right, since we have such a diverse mix here, but of course more Spurs fans, Spurs panelists here, but
we've got the boss here, Nuno.
Yeah, Nuno. You recognize him?
You do look like him, actually. You do look like him. I was just thinking about it. It's like, hey.
On my days, my hair is going as well like him. But I think the lighting's not good for me right now, but still, hey. No, the missus is turned up to the kitchen, so I've got to let her have her seat. So I'm off the hot spot there.
Okay, guys. As we were saying, right, since we have such diverse panelists on the show today, we go down to the nitty-gritty things like, okay, first thing is, of course, the ESL. It's creeping back, right? CAS has actually ruled in favor of the ESL, or the Super League, how you call it. Yeah. And we know deep down inside, from day one, actually, I've been telling Mr. K, right? If they started this 10 years ago, it's not going to stop. And if all the 12 teams have signed a legal paper, right, it's not that easy for them to pull out. But now, with the CAS actually approving it, it's more or less letting us fans know, right? It's been legitimized.
It's a media thing, man. It's like at the end of the day, it's like it was never illegal for them to do a business maneuver like that, because franchises exist everywhere in the world, so it's not illegal. The fact that they had to go to this length of putting it into the media that some arbitration court or something and another has legitimized it. It was always legit. It was never about legitimacy. It was always about the concept of what it was. Did it have in its basic core the core of what we believe football's all about?
Yep.
Right? That any person that can kick a ball deserves the quality of being there. Does any team have the ability to work itself up the pyramid to get somewhere? Or is this a privileged club? And that's what happened, is that these clubs said, thank you very much for these 150 years of history of building us up. Thank you very much. We'll take this. We'll buy this from you. And we'll take it. And you'll get nothing back. Yeah. And I think that's what's a kick in the teeth for all the fans out there, including the fans that actually support those clubs. I mean, there's going to be some small fans that are going to say, well, this is going to secure our football club. Your football club is never falling down. Manchester United is never falling down. But what will happen is they will lose their dominance. Like, for example, if you look at some of those clubs in Holland, for example, they were top club. Ajax was the top club, but they weren't included because they gradually, slowly dropped. They became feeder clubs because their network. So you know what I spoke earlier about the pedigree of youth players coming through your clubs?
Yep.
That might get used in the future. If your club slips down in terms of performance and you start getting to like 5th and 6th on a regular basis, you'll end up having to say, well, now we're going to become a feeder club like Ajax because we've got such a strong infrastructure, especially Liverpool. You know, you think about it. It's like there's kids out there for generation upon generation that look up to wanting to go to these academies. And if you're up north, you've got those choices. Manchester United, you know, on one side, you've got Liverpool on the other. They're the two big, massive clubs up there. Forget the Man Cities or anything else which is up there. These ones have got pedigree of bringing up youth system. So I can imagine some of the people getting worried, saying, hey, you know what? We don't want to lose our dominance. If we're getting 350, 400, 500 million a year just from this one little package alone, we should take it. And that will give our survival. But the problem is you lose the heart of what you were. You'll gain, for every one heart you lose, you may gain 5 new followers from globally around the world. So financially, it makes more sense to say, sod the regular fan. We don't care about you. It's not like our stadium. The reason why we want fans in the stadium is part of the spectacle of football, not the necessity of football. COVID has come along and shown them, hey, you know what? You can't play without the crowd.
Yeah.
You know? And they give it all the big speech. Oh, you know, we miss the fans, this, that, and the other. Really? If you had the fans, would they allowed your football team to play the way that it played right now? No, it wouldn't. Right? They would have booed you and things like that. So I think this is a move that's going to try to happen again. If we people, us and the viewers that are watching, if we still understand the reality of why this is wrong and stick to it, then this thing can never occur, because now we've been alerted and now we become organized. Now we have a voice. Yeah. They can't shut us up.
But
you know, this is important.
Yeah. But have you seen the new UEFA Champions League sort of structure that they're proposing? I think that's just as bad as the ESL.
I agree.
The only thing wrong with the ESL was there was no relegation, no promotion. Or there was 5 sides being promoted each year. What, do they play one season and another 5 just come in?
Yeah, well, it's going to be the ones that drop out. I mean, it's not the founding members are never going to drop. So it doesn't matter if you bring some people in who happen to be bit-time players just trying to make the place look a little bit legit. We know it stinks. If you have people in there that, regardless of how they play, look at our team, for example, right? I mean, as much as I want our team to be glorified and everything, but at the same time, I want us to, you know, clap when there's a good performance, clap when we've played really hard, boo when we haven't. Yeah. But I don't want to give a medal to somebody just for participation.
Exactly.
I think that type of mentality.
Guys,
I think
hold on, guys. Just let Harry and Ram have a say. What do they think about this scenario of the ESL? And this actually started when it was somewhere in.
I think it was March, April, around March.
March or April time, yeah. March, April time, right? And that was a time that actually made me see, right? The fans do have a certain power. When the fans revolted, it's just not the fans that revolted locally. It was the international fans also shouted out and said, no, we're not going to accept this. So let Harry and let Ram have a say and of how they feel about this ESL thing and what it reflects on the owners of Liverpool and the owners of Manchester United. Don't forget, Liverpool and Manchester United are very similar to Spurs because they are not owned by a Roman Abramovich or a Saudi sheikh. They are still owned by a family, but they are all business people, right? The Glazers for MU, FSG, Henry for Liverpool. Harry, would you like to go first?
Yeah, we actually spoke about this extensively when the ESL came about. Me and Ram, we ran a couple of shows on it because we were, to be honest, extremely pissed off about it. I think the concept in itself is a very greedy concept. If you look at it, it's foreign owners. They mentioned that Chelsea, for example, Roman Abramovich and Man City were not really the driving force behind ESL. They just joined in because the other clubs were in. But the reason for that is because they've got all the wealth in the world. I think the other owners, for financial security reasons, they decided to go for this because you're not getting relegated. You participate every year as founding members, and you make a ton of money. So for them, what was going to happen actually for the likes of Arsenal, for example, the Kroenkes, for Spurs, for Liverpool, for Man United as well, they wouldn't care about winning the ESL. They would just be happy winning a couple of games here and there because you pocket a certain amount every year. So there's no jeopardy in the sport whatsoever in terms of relegation, in terms of winning anything. They wouldn't give an absolute damn. So it was just for security reasons. It would take the fun out of football completely. For my opinion, and they wouldn't have anything to go for. They would just have financial security behind them. I think the whole ESL concept has been there for a few years, hasn't it? It's been spoken about for a few years. But if you notice, it was driven, it accelerated during COVID, and the driving forces behind them primarily were the clubs in Spain, Barcelona, Real Madrid, there was Juventus as well. And that's because they're heavily in debt. Barcelona can't even play Messi right now. They're trying to half his wages and throw everyone else off the books. Real Madrid are in a similar position. So I think that accelerated things for them. Just to summarize things, it was a very greedy ploy by owners who don't really care about winning any trophies, really. It was purely about shafting the supporters. Pardon my language, that shafting the supporters and really just about picking up financial gains every year, not having to win anything whatsoever.
I totally echo Harry's sentiment as well. Yeah, definitely.
Harry, in this instance, I don't mind you using the more colourful language. And as soon as we started talking about ESL, my face dropped. That depresses me as much as the manager search and as Levy. It may be good financially, supposedly, but I think it will, in a sense, kill our club in one way.
Can I just say one thing, Jamie, actually? And I think it was summed up, for a Liverpool fan at least, it was summed up in the best possible way. I think it was the second or third last game of our season last year when we were out of the Champions League positions, and Alisson Becker comes up for a corner in the dying seconds of the game to head home a winner to keep us in it, and eventually we make the Champions League. Now, if you think about it, that moment would not be in the minds of Liverpool fans. It would not have mattered for us because we would be in the European Super League every year. That moment is there now in Liverpool history, and it was such a moment. I'll never forget. I get goosebumps talking about that moment and the way we celebrated it. It was purely because we had something to go for. We were trying to get into the Champions League. Now, imagine in an ESL situation,
very true.
We wouldn't have anything to go for. That moment would not have existed, I think. And basically, it's a greedy ploy to rob us as supporters of moments like that.
It will make everything vanilla.
There's great. There's great.
Tommy.
I was going to say, isn't VAR doing? Sorry, go on.
Yeah. I was just going to say. It seems like it's inevitable. It's difficult to get your head round. But it destroys everything. It literally destroys everything. As Harry said there, you won't have the moments with Alisson, but you lose the relegation battles. I love the relegation battles. Even as a Spurs fan, we may not be in it, but
we had one with Man City.
We're not in it right now.
There are 72 clubs. There are 72 clubs outside the Premier League, and it is realistic to be in League 2 and League 1 and make the Premier League. It's realistic in 3 seasons. So much happens with Blackpool, and the clubs coming from the Championship now are quality clubs. They're quality clubs.
Hard working.
Brentford. Brentford are in the Premier League now. Brentford are going to do some big things. They're going to do some business. Leeds last season. It's their second season now, so they're going to sign players. We lose all of that. The pyramid, everything good about the Premier League is because of the pyramid. The pyramid is basically what the American sports don't have, and that's why a lot of the American fans are coming to us. If you finish bottom in an NFL, if you finish 32nd out of 32 teams, you get the first draft choice the following year. You get the first draft choice.
NBA.
You get rewarded for finishing last. If you finish last league, you're in a championship. You're in dire. If you finish last in the NFL, you get rewarded the most, the highest. There is no risk. Teams on purposely, when they're 28th, 29th in the NFL, going into the last games, they purposely lose so they can finish first, 32nd and get the draft choice. That's where we're heading. The same in baseball. Yeah. That's where we're heading. We lose the pyramid. We lose the beauty of the game. But like Mr. K said, it is inevitable. It's inevitable. You lose one fan.
Yep.
It's insane. You lose one fan, as you say, Mr. Kane. You gain 5 others.
Yeah. Hold on, Tommy. I got one more guest to bring on. Hi, Bobby.
Oh, yes.
Hey,
Bobby.
Bobby's from Bobby TV.
Go on, son.
And just to introduce you, Bobby, on top of you, Harry and Ram. One is a Liverpool fan, and the other is a Manchester United fan. They are from the YouTube channel called The Prod Malaysia, and they are one of the very few, football creators, content creators coming out from Malaysia like me.
Eugene, I'm a subscriber, mate. I've been a subscriber for a few months now.
You've seen them?
Yeah. It's a coincidence that we're talking about the ESL. Is actually the ESL. I subscribed about 2-3 months ago when you had the stream called Cover Your Ears, Mr. K, RIP ESL and Fuck Off Woodward. I watched that show. It was absolutely fantastic. Right? So, mate, I've been a subscriber and a fan for a few months now. So yeah, big.
Thank you so much.
Love your channel. Love your channel.
Yeah. Thank you, Bob. Yeah. Thank you. So nice to hear that. So good to know that we have also people reaching out to people overseas as well. So really thank you very, very much.
No, love it, mate. Love the stream. Love the channel.
And sorry, Tommy was saying something just now. Go ahead, Tommy. Finish your.
Yeah, I was just finishing. I was just finishing with my point. Bob, how you doing, man? I saw a bit of your show last night. Smashed it. And a big up to Aaron and Wayne Bonner in the chat. They're always around. Coming out with good points. And as I said, I just want to finish my point here. And I'm just doubling up on what Mr. K said. Basically, you lose one fan, but this ESL, you lose one fan in the Premier League, and you gain 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 others. Our population is 70 million here. Our stadiums are all here at the moment, but you're hitting a 1.6 billion market in China. It's inevitable. It was always going to happen. It's hard to get your head round, but and that one fan will come back as well. So you lose one fan, but they will come back. So we can say we're never going to support Tottenham. 5 years, a couple of years on, we will support Spurs. Unfortunately, that's the reality. Yep. It's hard, very, very hard to get your head around. And I can't imagine myself watching football in that situation. It will never be the same. Yep. So it's the killer. It's a killer, absolute killer.
But you're talking about joy, right? Yeah, and the killing of the sport. VAR has done a bit of that already. Yeah, those little moments in the football match. The reason why we have such a non-stop game compared to like American football, for example, where it stops every play. This particular game that we love to watch is the ability for one team to turn it around and all of a sudden have dominance. We've seen that happen to our team quite a few times, so we know this phenomenon exists. But this idea that the VAR is going to come along and then, you smack in a goal or you do something and they go pause and stop and there's all that kinds of confusion, that's killing the passion a little bit. But with ESL, that's just going to kill it completely.
Yeah.
For fans like us, it won't longer be the type of passion that we want, that we come to watch it for. So we're going to become like bittered old dinosaurs if that's the case. That's my. If ESL is back, then that would explain Levy stumping up 50 million for Romero. No, Levy's the type of guy that would need the money in his hand first before he does it. You remember that saga that he had when he was selling Bale? He bought 6 players in the same week that he was selling Bale. So it was like you bought the player Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday you sold Bale, and finally the money chain linked together.
Yeah.
Now I haven't heard talk of that many players that are being linked to Spurs in order for that money that may be coming from the sale of Harry Kane. So as much as I hate Levy, and trust me, that hate cannot be described in words right now on this show. There is that possibility. There is that possibility that his own characteristics are going to prevent him from selling Kane. And if we can keep Kane and Son for one more season, is that really going to make a big difference to us? Or is there a lot more infrastructure that we need to rebuild? I mean, out of the 3 clubs that I can see here, probably it's our club that needs the most amount of work right now. Bob, tell me.
How you doing? I hate the ESL, the thought of the ESL. Being a supporter of Tottenham Hotspur for 40 odd years, I despise the notion and what it stands for, what it's going to bring and what it's going to take away, more importantly. But I think Tommy touched on it, it's way too big for it to go away. There's so much money involved in it. It's going to come to a point where we're just going to have to like it or lump it. And there's no way I'm going to be a hypocrite and say, oh, I hate the ESL and I don't want Spurs to be in it, and then not watch them. Of course I'm going to watch them. I'll watch them. I'll watch Spurs if they're in the ESL. Fucking hell, I'm going to watch them when they're in the Conference League. So that's, it's no getting away. We can't stop supporting Spurs regardless of whatever.
Yeah.
It is going to take away the tradition. Of course it is.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Exactly, Jamie. And the only light I can see at the end of the tunnel is the fact they have gone away. They have thought about it. Last time, I think it took them by surprise. When I say them, people obviously who put it all together, that they didn't realise there was going to be such uproar. It was more of the notion and the fact that the fans, it seemed like, for me personally anyway, it was these 6 chairman, whatever, during the pandemic, were all sat in a room or individually in their room in a dark lit room with their little laptops out, tweeting away, chatting away, going, oh, let's do this, all right, checkbook, sign. Next day, here you guys, fans, fuck it, see you later, this is what we're doing. That's it. No opinions, no feedback, no communication. There was none of that. And that's what angered, apart from everything else, but that even enlightened it even more. The fact that us, the fans, who are in every single brick, in every single stadium, our sweat, our tears, our joys are all integrated. That was all taken away. We were given no right to have a say.
Yeah. It's almost like we weren't treated as adults. Exactly. It's almost like we weren't treated as adults. We weren't included in the discussions. It's like the parents are talking and the children have to sit in front of the TV for a while. We're making the decisions.
Yeah, and I think that's what's probably going to come out of it is the fact they've gone away, they thought about it, and it might come back, because I've mentioned something along the line that will suit all fans or take it into consideration all fans. So I personally believe it just might replace the Champions League. I honestly mean that. Again, Champions League brings a lot of money in, but the amount of money that this Super League will bring in will dwarf that. And I do believe there's every chance that it might come in and play alongside the Premier League. If it replaces the Premier League, then obviously there will be a massive uproar, but I don't think it will replace the Premier League. I think there will be a line of negotiations and meeting halfway or something. And let's be honest, I mean, I know people have a morality thing about we don't want a shaking, we don't want someone who I couldn't give a shit. I want money in the Tottenham Hotspur football club. I want every best player. But obviously there are different fans with different thoughts. So the ESL, I believe it's too bigger and too revenue based, too revenue heavy for it to go away. And it's going to come to a point where we're just going to have to, unfortunately, like it or lump it.
Harry, Harry had something to say.
Thank you for bringing us down again.
Just say something.
Tommy made me smile, and you made me frown. Okay.
Ram, will you say something, Ram?
Yeah, I mean, Bob, I totally echo your sentiment as well. And Hari, whatever Hari was mentioning earlier as well, is the same, because I think all of us agree that, the ESL is going to be a total abomination of football, if you like, and I feel yes, it's become a business more than a sport, in that sense. But yes, we love our team. We will continue to support our teams regardless of whatever happens. But what really cheeses me off is that, I know that Premier League and ESL might coexist, for sure. But what I really I get upset about is because the Premier League might end up having players that are a B squad, because the focus will be on the ESL, and they might have the team B that might play in the Premier League, and it is not all that bad, but I think we lose that essence of what we love, going into the stadiums day in, day out. So that really pisses me off, to be very, very, very
100%.
honest.
100%. 100%.
Sorry, distracted by the smoke and the mirrors of Mr. K.
Okay, guys. Okay, coming to the ESL. All right, I'm going to give you guys a question. All right, after all this smoke and mirrors going around the ESL, all right. Yes, we know. If they come out now, right, and says that we're going to adjust it, tweak it, and put in a few more conditions for this and that, maybe add a bit of relegation battle inside it, but we still have to proceed with it. Do you think the fans will accept it? Adding relegation, tweaking it a bit, right? And of course, like what Ram saying, I agree. The Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga, Serie A, Ligue 1, right? All are going to turn into feeder leagues for the ESL in the end of the day. That's not the Premier League, all the top leagues in the world, right? Even what you call the Dutch league or whatever, if Ajax gets to get in there and all that, it will all turn to feeder leagues for the ESL, right? And Eredivisie, right? Yeah. So, would you all accept it if they do tweak it a bit, right? Now they say we got 12 founding members, and these 12 founding members are fakes. But if these 12 founding members, right? Yes, Mr. K. If these 12 founding members,
I can smell it over here. I'm in Manila.
Guys, the club is driving me that. I've come back into Spurs again, and hardcore. The only way to get through it is either drink or smoke,
not
right?
Even 1 hour you're losing it.
Can you believe? Look. Go on.
But guys, okay. Let's say if the 12 founding members, they do relegate one of them per season, will you still accept it? Because now what they're saying, right? We have 12. We need another 3 plus 5 to make it overall. And there was some earlier, I was watching Bob's stream earlier, right? Someone was saying, the bun, Danny was saying, right? PSG is waiting for the World Cup to be over. Once the World Cup is over, PSG is going to hop on too.
Yep, agreed.
So it could be, that's why I said, we can't stop it. The only way what we can do, right, is to voice our discontent and push for changes in the system that they're trying to build.
I think you're right. Slowing it down and then having it modified, but then it's going to turn into the Champions League.
No, it is going to be.
Because let's face it, the teams that turn up in the Champions League, right? Yeah, what? Teams that with lots of money. Their money gets them into top 4, top 3, whichever league they're in. It gets them into that top positions. And really, that's the reason why the money's being put in. It's not so that they can win that particular league. It's so that they can appear internationally in the in Champions League, which is global brand. All right? It's a recognized global brand. And basically, the ESL is trying to replace that. Go on, Shane.
So what happens with somebody like Moscow Lokomotiv or FC Basel, Galatasaray?
They don't have the money.
Galatasaray is one of the biggest clubs in that part of the world.
It is. But look at Ajax. Look at Ajax.
FC
Ajax is like,
Basel.
it's historical. I mean, Ajax is a historical club, and yet
Ajax,
they're not even
yeah.
included. They're not even included in the first 15.
They were
So-
Ajax.
No, but they can get included out of the 8 teams that have not been added on.
Yeah, they could get that way, but they're not guaranteed.
Yeah.
The thing is, right,
That's not
is that
guaranteed,
Ajax is not guaranteed. And
Is there
look at the
overall?
pedigree.
How many clubs are there overall? How many clubs are there overall?
They are trying to
Right.
do a 20 team league, if I'm not
20.
mistaken.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
20
And I think they've got
12
12 founding members, and the rest have to
Founding members,
qualify.
It's straight
something
20.
like that, yeah.
Straight 20.
No,
Yep.
12 founding members
I
plus
thought
3.
more
The
along
plus
the
3 is
field.
supposed to be PSG and 2 clubs from the German side. That makes it
Yeah,
15.
Dortmund.
Yeah, and Dortmund and Bayern. Then after that, the other 5 clubs, right, will come from the leagues of the top 5 teams or some top 5 countries in their whatever coefficient rating and all that.
But Bayern and
But-
Dortmund will never get on that because I think the Germans have a different formula, don't
Yeah,
they?
they've got
because
public
shareholding, yeah.
0%. Yeah, 20 or
Exactly,
20,
and
whatever it
that's
is. Yeah.
and that's something I think I think that's something every league has to try and adopt if possible. I know it's not a short-term thing,
No,
but
that's
going
why-
that German model where fans
Yeah.
actually have a proper say in the running of the club.
Yeah, that's
50
true.
plus
That's true.
1 or something.
Yeah, 50 plus
Yeah,
1
Plus
deal.
one,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
But that is a government ruling in Germany. But the problem in the UK, right, that will never happen. In a lot of other countries, it won't happen because the governments won't put their hands into business, right? If
We
you
got
start
Boris
doing
Johnson,
that,
mate.
Ram and Harry will know, right? If you start doing that, Ram and Harry, it will turn into a GLC like Malaysia.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You don't want to
He
go there,
spends
right?
his
So-
time making babies, doesn't he? Johnson spends his time making babies. He's expected
Yeah,
child
have
now.
another one.
It's
It was
it's
a- I've
disgusting
done a
what's going on
newspaper
in
show.
politics.
I've done a newspaper show. Yeah, man, yeah. But it's crazy. But I thought there'd be more clubs. I mean, I don't understand, Bob, how the Premier League can coincide. If it's 20-team league, if it's a 20-team league, I don't know how the Premier League can coincide. It can coincide, but it won't have the clubs that are in the ESL. Surely not. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, that's 38 games again, isn't it? Or it could
I
be
mean,
like
the
the,
FA is a lot
the
of
NFL, where
Yeah.
I mean, the
I'm
FA have
looking at
turned
it,
around
and
straight
you've
and
got to
said,
look at the American sports. You have to look at the American blueprint. You have to, because it's going to follow that. One way or another, it's going to follow that. I'm almost certain it will. It'll probably come down to rosters. I think completely separate. I think it's going to be completely separate.
Could be, mate, but I don't think we'll have a home and away situation in the ESL. I think it will be a Tottenham v Man United in Qatar or something like that. It'll be
Oh, yeah.
It'll be
MU
spread
versus
around.
Liverpool in Beijing.
Exactly. It'll be, unfortunately, it will be like that, and that's the biggest worry. That is the biggest worry, and when you consider that if it is
And if it is, it destroys the Premier League, the clubs in the
but
Premier
guys,
League. How can you compete
they
with 400 million pound a season? Just can't.
No,
Exactly.
guys,
Exactly.
the league system, they might put it like that. They might play a home and away plus an international match. That means each team plays 3 times. Somehow or another, they will turn it into
too
something
many
like
games. Then
It's
we'll
like
have
a
to break
playoff-
away from the
like a
we'll
playoff
have to
format.
break away from the we'll have to break away from Premier League. The fact is, we know it's coming, but we just don't know what the logistics of it is. I do believe that they have gone away, they have thought about it, and they've reconstructed it, like Eugene says. It is a case of how they've reconstructed it. I don't know who's to say that the numbers haven't lessened. Who's to say that they haven't put in a footballing calendar in place? We just don't know. It might be once every 2 years. We just don't know how it's going to be presented to us. And what we have on our side this time is, it's always been in the background, but we can expect some form of proposal being put forward to the fan base. And then we are in a position where we can give some constructive feedback rather than the whole, understandably and quite right, protests that we had last time. So I think they're probably going about it at the right time. It's completely the wrong thing, but it seems like they have. They are probably going about it.
Well, guys, I have one more idea, right? Okay, this ESL, right? We keep calling it ESL, but actually, they call it Super League. Okay, what if they start a Super League, right? With clubs not only just coming from Europe. What if they start taking clubs from other countries?
Wasn't that idea bandied around about 10, 15 years ago?
Like in Malaysia, Ram and Harry will know. We have a super team in Malaysia called JDT.
Yeah.
That team owned by the Sultan of Johor, right?
Yeah.
And it swipes everybody off the league in Malaysia. You see, and that is what you call super team in Malaysia. All right. So maybe they're trying to do something like that. In the end of the day, the Super League could become WSL, World Super League.
Yeah.
If they were to do that, it would have to be separate. If they were to do that, it'd have to be separate from the Premier League.
That's why
you couldn't play
they're
38 games.
separating slowly.
Even 19 games.
You see,
3-hour flight.
if the World Super League also, like what you said, Eugene, if it's good for countries like this to put themselves on the map, you know, in a way, it's a good thing. But if it's going to interfere in what we already have, which is the Premier League and the Champions League, then it doesn't really make sense. But if they're going to have it like, or maybe like a 4-yearly, like, you know, a World Cup, they have it like 4 years once or 3 years once. So if they were to do something like that, maybe it's nice, you know, but doesn't destroy what we already have. So that's my take on it. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that the money is too big.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yep.
I think the idea was to have the European Super League replace the Champions League essentially, and then coexist with the Premier League. But now the problem with that is you're going to have teams like Leicester, Leeds, potentially West Ham like last year, Aston Villa, who are spending the bucks now as well, who will have nothing to play for in the league. They won't have the need. They won't have the dream of qualifying for a Champions League and being able to qualify and play with the likes of Madrid or Barcelona in the Champions League, which is a dream for those teams and their supporters. Because Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Liverpool and Dortmund and Bayern potentially will not be in the Champions League. They'll be in this closed shop European Super League. So these teams have nothing to play for, to get into or dream to get into a European competition where they can pit their wits against the likes of Barcelona and Madrid. And I think that's where the problem comes in.
But Harry, that might happen, you see. Don't forget, we have still 5 to 8 spaces open.
But 5 to 8 spaces across
those
the
5 to 8 spaces, you know, the 5
to 8 spaces across the
then
continent.
But you have another qualifying tree to reach that 5 to 8 places.
But
the only problem is like what you said, your main Tottenham Hotspur team, your main Manchester United team, and Liverpool team, right, in the Premier League, right, will become a B team.
Yep.
Okay, guys. The reality is this, right? Yeah, and Bob knows this, and we all know this. That the reason why there was a massive hoo-ha about it was because UEFA, the FA, Sky Sports weren't included in the money. Okay, the money, they weren't included in it. They set up such a strong response. The FA turned around and said, if you go for this league without our permission, then you're cut from the Premier League. Okay, now that's suicide if you get rid of the top teams in your league. You get rid of Man United, Man City, Liverpool, you know, them across the other side and us, right? Yeah. And Chelsea. Well, what have you got in the Premier League? So really, you cut off your nose to spite your face. So it's a bit of a balancing act, and I think it all comes down to money. If this ESL league, right? Yeah, can facilitate the money flow to go to UEFA, to go to these leagues, then they will say yes. Now Sky's pissed off because they don't get the TV rights for it, and they're the ones who created all this massive money. So that strong response that people were seeing on the TV, that had nothing to do with ethics.
It's money.
That had everything to do with money.
They're all about money. Yeah.
Right. So there's nobody on our side. Trust me, they're not on our side.
Absolutely.
Yep,
that's true.
It's all about money. It's all about, and it will always come down to money. The reason Premier League started in '92 was down to money.
All about money. Yeah.
And who would have thought? You know, there was loads of words against the Premier League starting, but look at us now. We can't imagine a world without. It's the exact product that we're fighting to keep now. So, I keep on saying, as much as I dislike it, as much as I dislike what it stands for, sometimes the power of money, the power of something that is so big that you know it's not going to go away. And I think who mentioned it earlier is like Tommy said, mate, 2,000 people, 2,000 Tottenham fans might not like it, but I'll tell you what, there's another 40,000 fans waiting to take their place. And I think, unfortunately, the football club knows that. So it's going to be one of those. We're going to have to like it or lump it. I hope it doesn't affect the Premier League. Like Harry just said, you know, I think it could. There is a way. I don't know how they're going to control it, but there is every chance it might work alongside the Premier League. But if we stand back and look at the new Champions League structure that's coming in, guys, it's not that different to the ESL. But the fact the Champions League brought it out, they brought out their proposal around when the ESL were coming out. It all went a bit hush hush, and it's another 3 seasons before it kicks in. When you stand back and look at it and how it's all working out, you know, there are teams who will always be in there. It's not that dissimilar to the ESL, apart from the fact that you can be in it or you can't. So I think there's a lot of thoughts been put into it, and I do believe that although not ideal, I think there might be a few more fans who might think, you know what, for us, our club to become ex-rich, we might have to accept it. And I'll be a hypocrite if I said I didn't want a rich Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. So it's a wait and see for me. Let's wait and see.
That's true. Yeah, but I guess this won't happen straight away, right? It will more or less take 2 or 3 years for them to iron out things and pay off whoever they need to pay off, right? Or include them into the deal of the ESL, right? Like what Bob said, in the 91-92, when the Premier League was created, a lot of people were already saying, you're creating a pyramid. In the end of the day, the top few teams are going to run everything. They're going to win everything. But because we still kept that relegation factor and all that, don't forget, first division was a 24-team league.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. When they started Premier League, they took away 4. Remember? And they started off with 20. So those 4 teams who were kicked out all will say, sorry, can't do anything about it. You're out of it. But don't forget, the Premier League did something very good, is that if you get re-promoted back into the Premier League, right?
Yeah.
We give you £100 million.
Yeah.
Have you seen teams just go up and down, up and down, up and down? Every time you go up and down, right, you collect another £100 million. Go down, come up, £100 million. If you do that 5 years in a row, you're sitting with half £1 billion in the bank. Like I said, in the end of the day, it's still all about the money. So that's why I was saying, telling Spurs, tell Levy what to do, right? If you don't get the ESL, that's what we're going to do. You want money, right? Go up and down.
You mean like Fulham, right?
Yeah, like Fulham, yeah.
I couldn't believe it. They spent so much money in that one season, bro. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But, you know, listen, guys, the ESL, as Bob said, is one of those things that's going to rumble on. Eventually, it'll find a way to make a fashionable face, right? What are the other? What else is? You seem to be quiet. Don't have ideas. Look, a lot of the stuff we speak about sometimes is a lot of speculation, but the reason why is because we've been around this game so long. We've seen all these type of maneuvering. We've seen these type of plays before. You know, right now I've come back from a little hiatus, and you know I've missed a few things, like some transfers that have happened. I've missed the fact that we've got a new manager. You know, in Nuno we trust, apparently. Nice
70 days, 70+ days.
I mean, are we going to forget that? The answer is, well, it's forgotten.
Yeah.
Come on, that's the way we are. We're like goldfish, right? Yeah, and someone taps on the aquarium, and we all start floating towards it. But that's what fans are. This is what makes us tick. It's our club, the things that it does, the things that it speculates to do, the environments around it, and this is the passion of, you know, supporting the clubs that we currently support. We got some wonderful adventures going on. A lot of them we don't like, but any type of movement at all is excitement. You know, I mean, I've seen this new kid coming in. What's his name? Gary Gill. Brian Gill. That's it.
Hill.
And then we've got a goalkeeper.
Hill.
Yeah. I mean, we got Hill. Got it. Hill. So we also got a goalkeeper, I believe, which doesn't make any sense. We just saw, you know, a fantastic youth academy goalkeeper that we already have, Alfie Whiteman, performing amazing things as a goalkeeper.
Oh, he's pre-season.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Why would you need to get another goalkeeper?
Because I think Joe Hart's going. Joe Hart's going to be out the door. I think there's no need for him. I think he was brought in for to make the tea, and like Dave Harris quite always says, he comes in to do the tea, biscuits, arrange cricket matches, etc. But I think it is a wait and see with regards to Paratici. It has to be a case of, because right now calling him the Don Paratici I think is a bit premature. So far, all we've got is a number 2 goalkeeper and a kid we haven't heard of till about 3 weeks ago. So it's a wait and see. Romero coming in is more than just a signing that's going to add quality. It might not work out. But
is Romero another Dybala?
No. That's what I'm saying. So Romero coming, the signature of Romero is more. No, we don't know. But the named Romero, for me, that's a marquee signing, and to me, that would be a Skriniar. That would be the Grealish getting through the door. It'd be a Dybala coming through the door.
Martinez is another one.
It might not work out. It might turn out to be the worst defender in the world. But the signing itself sends out a statement which we haven't had for a number of years. And Ram, I want to ask you a question. We've got people who, like myself, I'm not going to call him by name, but I'm a bald-headed wanker out. Right, so when it comes to that twat, and big up Mark, cheers, buddy. And there's some people who are quite happy to wait and see how it works out, and some people who can't decide, which is their prerogative. Within Man United, we know how many people. Well, there's obviously that lucrative fan base who want the Glazers out. It's all very well bringing in world-class players. My word, if we had half of those, we'd be absolutely over the moon. But the issue is building up the debt and go. Are there some fans within the Man United base, and Tommy will probably know this, having so many Man United fans on your channel, that are quite happy the way things are?
You mean for the ESL, is it?
No, for the Glazers. Yeah, for the Glazers. Are there some people who are quite happy with the Glazers and happy to continue the way, or is it 100% Man United collectively? Because I think that showcases quite a bit of the Spurs fan base as well, that we are so 25. We don't know where we are with Levy. Whereas Man United, there just seems to be that collective Glazer, get the fuck out of our club kind of mindset. Yep. So I don't know. Is that true?
You saw the protest.
I believe
the protest.
The protest has showed the voice of the fans. I think a majority of the fans they truly want him out, because I think it's clear that he never invested in the team. He never invested in the club. He's always taking out money for his own personal use, and you could see that the fans had to do something to wake him up, which is to eventually, to probably reinvest in the stadiums, to buy new players. So what I'm seeing right now is that, something similar where to Levy, like for example, Levy is not really the kind of owner that a club wants to have. But if he is doing something that benefits the club, okay, fine. But the question goes back again, how long is it going to last? So I think for United fans, I think they are still on Glazers out. For myself personally, I still want the Glazers out, no matter what it takes, because I think whatever said and done, football comes first. So I believe that the true essence
what Mark says, Mark's spot on. Is it sometimes the case that new world-class players are brought in for X amount of money to put their mindset to one side and say, don't worry about Glazers at the moment. Look at this new present for you. Are there some fans who actually shift their agendas elsewhere because of the quality of players that they're bringing in? Because it's hard as a Spurs fan, it's hard to understand. I can see it. I can see the logic behind it. But as a Spurs fan, I'm probably, I don't know if I'm speaking for everyone, but for all these quality players to come in, it's and still be disgruntled with the chairman. I understand why, of course I do. It's kind of hard to share that same view with a Man United. It's hard.
Bob, Man United fans, right? Yeah, they've been collectively together, like some groups of them have been collectively and very actively Glazer out before we started to collectively become Levy out.
Yeah, 100%.
We believed in our hearts that Levy need to be out as individual people, but we started to come together this year more so than the year before. whereas the Man United fans have been Glazer out for a number of years.
For a very long time, yeah.
And the thing is, the difference between Glazer and Levy is that Glazer hasn't really been making improvements to even some of the facilities that Manchester United got. Whereas Levy, on the other hand, Levy has been improving the facilities, but not the people on the pitch. So Levy spent money there, and the Glazers have spent money on marquee signings. And he does that regularly just to shut them up, to take the steam out of their sail.
Yep.
And I think something like that is happening to us as well. I'm looking at Manchester United and I'm looking at other teams as lessons to learn about what's happening to us and where we might end up.
You look at other teams. Harry, I mean, your history with the owners at Liverpool, mate. You know, you actually succeeded in getting change, didn't you? To an extent. I mean, that's yeah. Go for it, mate.
Can I just say, I was just listening to all of you guys complaining about your owners and laughing
And
really.
pissing yourself, yeah.
Because the only thing I will say is that from our experience, my experience personally, the grass is always greener on the other side, like they said. Be careful what you wish for, because we had owners back then in Gillette and Hicks who took us 5 days. We were 4 days off going into administration and going broke.
Remember that.
A club like Liverpool would have been shut. And I remember back in that, I think it was 2010, when I was on fan forums every day, about 15 hours a day, just trying to monitor developments and praying that the deal went through for FSG to come in, because we were that close to going to administration. So for us, I know the ESL has come along and we were pissed off with the owners, but honestly, we are far away from FSG out because they saved us. We're not in debt as a club. They saved us. They've improved the stadium facilities. We've won the league. They brought Jurgen Klopp in. We've won the Champions League. So we're way off that, and the only thing I would say is be very careful what you wish for, because you just don't know who's going to come in. And if it's another one of those Gillette Hick types owners, they take you down really quickly.
I think, Harry, what the Spurs fans have got, mate, is 20 years of ENIC where we've never. I mean, I know what Mr. K says. We've bought a lovely stadium's been built, but it's a cash cow. It's generating so much revenue. It's going to ENIC, and that's the biggest thing. You know, for me, and you'll relate to this, Harry, because I don't know if you were there, but we were putting aside how shit we were officially, but how shit we were really, but officially we were the second best team in Europe when we lost to Liverpool. On paper, on everything official UEFA documentation, we were known as the second best team in Europe, and we failed to take advantage of that, and that was criminal. That was absolutely criminal.
I think there's only one difference between, if you ask me honestly, I mean, there may be a few others, but there's only one big difference between ENIC and FSG. And I think the difference has been the manager, Jurgen Klopp, and who they've brought in. Because if you look at the two teams, they operate in a similar manner. FSG have not just thrown the money out the door. People say we spent money on Van Dijk, Alisson. It was because we sold Coutinho for 140 million pounds. So it was not as if they bankrolled, they used their own funds for that. We sold Coutinho, they reinvested that money well, and that's credit to the recruitment team. So they've got a good recruitment team. They've got Michael Edwards, who's an outstanding football director. So that I think they've made some good acquisitions there. But I think the big difference has been the manager. Jurgen Klopp took an average team with a couple of star-studded players to winning the title and winning the Champions League. And I think that's the only difference, if you ask me. The models are the same. Arsenal's model is exactly the same.
Yeah.
But in the consequence,
but remember,
he did make the team a little bit more dirty, though.
Yeah, but must also remember
that's a very good point.
Has only won the Premier League once. Don't forget.
The thing is with Jurgen Klopp, right? No. But guys, the thing with Jurgen Klopp, right? Yeah, is that he did what Mourinho asked our team to do. He goes, look, this team is a bunch of nice guys. Stop being nice guys. With Liverpool, what I noticed when they won that league, right? Yeah, if you look at a lot of the plays that they did along the wings, for example, there's some dirty players that were doing some dirty things, like Robertson, for example, right? Yeah, and this is when, and I think that's basically the difference. Is that he said the same thing that Mourinho said to his own club, which is, I still got you want to play good football, but I want you to start thinking smart and being dirty about it as well. And if you look that season, when people are winning, you don't look at the dirty play, right? So they got away with that quite a lot of times. But you need to if you want to be in that top 2-3. I'm sorry, but just one reality.
Where Jose
I think
failed though, where Jose failed, and it's gonna, and you'll probably agree or disagree. But where Jose failed and Klopp managed to do straight away, and we saw it in our first game. Our first game, remember, was against. There was an identity that was brought into Liverpool straight away.
Yeah,
you know, there was we could see by the end of the first season, Klopp's first season, we could see how Liverpool were going to play. All they needed was the right personnel to come into that system, and you could see the identity that we're building. And that's where Jose failed. There was never an identity put into our football club.
Can I just say one?
Yes.
Can I just say one more thing, actually? So I think there are two differences. One is the manager, Jurgen Klopp. Because if you look at it, and I think the other thing that they have done really well is they've put a really good scouting and recruitment team in place. Yeah. So when they sell a player like Coutinho, just like you guys sold Gareth Bale for lots of money, money was invested horribly. You bought 7 players. None of them are at the club right now. I think the only success was Eriksen in there. What they did was they sold Coutinho, and the recruitment was outstanding. They brought in Alisson, Van Dijk. If you look, Robertson bought for £8 million from Hull. Salah for 30 million, Mane for 30 million, and what they've become. So I think the recruitment team has done an outstanding job with these players. Matip came in on a free. Trent came from the academy.
That's it.
You know, so and I think that's the big difference. And of course, the manager has had a role to play, because your recruitment team can identify players, but it's the manager that convinces them to join your club.
Vision.
A good example is Van Dijk. Man City were after Van Dijk the very same year Liverpool was, but he opted to join Liverpool because of Jurgen Klopp. So I think it goes hand in hand. But I think the big difference between FSG and the rest is they put a really good structure in place, recruitment structure in place, and they brought in a top class manager. That's allowed us to make this model a success.
I agree.
Harry, just one thing.
The thing you mentioned that was the thing. Wait, 1 second. The thing you mentioned there, which is very, very obviously, it's the money you invested in the squad. But Eugene said you just won 1 Premier League, but you came second the season before, 97 points. 1 point behind Man City, 97 points. Sensational season. Okay, you didn't win the league, but any other season in the Premier League history, you would have won the league. You won the Champions League. Oh, we know you won the Champions League too. Yeah. So just it's not just the team, not just the starting 11 that were fantastic. We had a 5-6 years ago, I had a good team. We just didn't win anything. And Liverpool don't spend much money now either. So it was a very good point from Harry. They reinvest what they sell. I mean, they need a mid. They lost Wijnaldum very early on. They need a centre mid. They still haven't signed a centre. But they have a budget. It seems, Liverpool, and they're not willing to go over it. The scouting is in place, like it is at Leicester City. The scouting is in place, and it needs to start there. Our scouting system, we've seen Ndombele. You hear things pounds. Lo Celso, £30 million. It's like we're not scouting them. We just go off players off their reputation. But Liverpool put the time in. And you can spend. They can spend the £80 million on Van Dijk's because they've got the 140 million from Coutinho's. And Mr. K makes a very good point about the aggression. About you having to be more aggressive. You have to be dirty. You have to be shithousery like Lamela was, or Diego Costa. Talk about Diego Costa coming at him just because of his shithousery. You need that. When I was doing stats last year, 30 games in, the Spurs centre-backs, we played a lot of centre-back season, yeah? Mr. K and the Spurs fans confirm that. We had 4 yellow cards between all the centre-backs in 30 games. It's game management. You've got to pull the shirt sometimes before they get in the penalty area. You've got to take the yellow card sometimes just to stop allowing them going in the penalty area and score. Okay, he's a free kick, yellow card. We don't have that aggression. And that aggression is so key. That's why we need brawlers. We need real brawlers.
Tommy, don't you think
all the centre backs need a brawler?
Tommy, don't you think that with our squad right here, that aggression comes from putting it for the team, playing for the team, taking a yellow card for the team, Now, what I don't see, like, for example, the many times when I saw Aurier being pulled out of position from defense right here, I didn't see anyone else saying, oh, look, if he's going to pull it for the team, I better pull it for him and cover his space. Instead, his space got left vacant for people like Cavani to run through and score goals against us, and for everyone then to point fingers at Aurier and say, Aurier, you're the bad guy. but really the rest of the team is not supporting other players in the team. Now, the whole team has to come together. Now, Liverpool did that successfully under Jurgen Klopp. With Jose, he created that animosity between the team, which meant that the team weren't supporting each other. If you look at, for example, what's that guy, Winksy, right, yeah? Playing in the midfield. Last game or second to last game of the season, the guy puts his foot in to take a yellow card for the team. Well, why didn't you do that for the rest of the season? Why didn't you play like that for the rest of the season? It's because he wasn't willing to play it for the team, i.e. his teammates. So there was a lot of politics in Spurs, right, yeah, for the last 12 months. And somebody said earlier about a sign of intent, that we haven't sown a sign of intent. I'm sorry, but we brought back Gareth Bale. We kept Son. We kept Kane. You know, we took on Reguilon, right? That is showing intent. The only thing is we didn't show football intelligence by bringing in a defender. You know, a solid centre back. That's where the smoke and mirrors of the Levy game is being exposed. He's playing with our feelings, trying to show it. So you say
it's difficult to teach commitment. It's difficult to teach commitment as well. Sometimes it's ingrained. Sometimes it's ingrained in the player. You know, it's there or it isn't. It's difficult to teach, but we still, the defenders haven't been there, but the managers have to, you know, they have to look at that and decide the way they want to play. Sometimes it's the strategy you use. It depends on the players. I mean, Jose Mourinho sits back. It's all about shape. It's not about winning the ball. Where Pochettino's press. So I suppose you're going to get more yellow, red cards. And hopefully, you know, it's good to, you know, we can't be negative too much. We've seen that with Nuno just in pre-season. The press seems to be back. So, you know, on the one hand, players that have an ingrained aggression and it's not there, but it can be taught to. It can be taught to a certain extent. So fingers crossed. We've got a side of our team now is back to the Pochettino way. Jose Mourinho ruined this team in a lot of ways for me. You can't put it all on Jose Mourinho, but he ruined this team in a lot of ways.
I agree. When you talk about Jose Mourinho, I agree with you 100%, Tommy, because we've had an experience with him as well. So.
Yeah, I know. That's why I want to ask you about your experience in that time. But Shane was wanting to say something. Shane, you were saying something?
I was going to say lots of things actually, but we're going over a lot of old ground.
Yeah.
We seem to be in this groundhog loop at the moment. The ESL is going around and around in circles. Our management, our identities going around and around in circles. You know, we all know that we're not spending wisely on players. You know, it's just going back over and over and over again. And as sports pundits that we're on YouTube, we're sports pundits. We're talking about this over and over and over again. You know, there's nothing new sort of really to be said about it.
Shane, are you worried about, because I know we tweet each other quite a bit and I know what your thoughts are, but I just want you're worried about the start of the season, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. No Harry Kane. Harry Kane won't be back and fit. Yeah. Harry Kane's a super fit, super talented guy, but he won't be back. I dare say Højbjerg won't be back. So we're going to be relying on people like Moon Boots Diarrhea.
What about Skip? He'll jump in there. And what about Scarlett? Do you think he'll go?
You've got to be...
You have to be brave to put Scarlett on.
17 years of age, you know.
He's natural though. He works really hard, trains really, really hard. He trains the same way Kane does, and that's one of the things which I picked up very like a year ago about the young boy was the way he trains, the way he does it in the training pitch, what he puts out there, and what he also got is he's got that eye. he's got the eye for being in the right place when in a live match, in order for him to kind of get a chance to put the ball in the back of the net, which is, what you want a forward to have, that instinct to know where to go. It takes a little bit of time, technique developing in order to finish off chances the way Kane finishes them off. But the instinct, the physicality of getting there, he has it already. Now, if you put Scarlett on, he won't be able to do what Kane does, which is drift into the midfield and support that. So, that's the issue.
I think what
Shane's a bit of a looseness.
He's saying is we need a backup striker. We need a backup striker regardless.
100%.
Don't tell me Ings, because Ings is an awful backup because of the
guys.
The amount of injuries.
Our Harry Kane problem, right, and the replacement for Harry Kane, right? Whether he's staying or whether we're going to replace him or whether we're going to get a backup striker for him, right? It's it's a Spurs thing. It's always been like that all these years, right? And most probably it'll be done in the last minute, and we'll be going around digging all the rubbish bins for whatever we can get cheaply. Okay, before we go on that,
Man.U needs a new.
Hold on, before we go on
striker,
that, right?
Yeah,
I'm going to ask Ram a question, right? After like having sharing girlfriends before, okay, what was your experience during Jose's time, right? We shared something in common. He came in. He fucked up the play. Sorry, excuse me.
No. I've done it, mate. I've already broken that check.
He screwed up the players mentally, physically, in every way. And now you guys are rebuilding from the ashes that he created, right?
Yeah.
And you have Ole for 2 years already. Going to be 2 years.
Yeah.
This is second season, right? So now we have gone through what you've gone through, right? Tell us, what are we supposed to do? You've gone through it, It's like having a bad relationship with the same person, and you have gone through it. Now, as Spurs fans, what do we expect?
Oh, I think good news is you guys got rid of Jose, so that's a good news. So I think now I just have to say that I'm quite happy, to be honest, that Nuno is actually going to be coming to Spurs, because I'm a big fan of Nuno. I like Nuno Espirito Santo. I love watching Wolves. Whenever I see Wolves play in the Premier League, I do want to watch them play because it's so exciting, so refreshing. So I think that's what you're going to get at Spurs, with Nuno, coming in. And I think you don't have to worry about what Jose left, and things like that, because I think he's such a strong manager that can prove that he can do so much better than Jose. And I think, Jose is like a big name, right? So he has high expectations. He coming to the club. People know, oh, I am the chosen one or the special one. He always has that. But to be very honest with you, with Nuno coming in, I think Spurs are going to do really well. I am happy to see him move up that level from Wolves going into a bigger club, and to show what he can do. So I think you guys should be really, really excited, looking forward to it. Yeah.
So Ram, are you happy with Ollie?
Yes. I currently, if you ask me whether Ole in or out, I'm going to say I'm Ole in. But
I think you're in the minority. I think you're in the minority there. You're in the minority amongst Man United fans, I have to say.
It's a make or break, isn't it? Isn't it, Harry? It's a make or break for this season.
Yeah, it's a make or break. Yeah, definitely a make or break. And we're just happy that now we got two world-class players coming into the team. But this is where the question is. Is he able to actually rally them on to actually win the title? That is the question. And if he can't do it, I think a lot of people would have said, time's up. We've gave you too many chances, time's up. But as of now, I am just relishing the opportunity to see what happens, in the next season.
Sorry, Ram, this is last season, mate.
Yeah, next season.
I mean, if you bought Harry Kane, then I think there's a chance, right? Yeah, you can go up against Man City this season, right? Yeah. But without him, not happening.
Hey, Cavani, don't underestimate Cavani.
We beat City last season.
I love Cavani, mate. I think Cavani is such a quality player, and if he gets more playing time, I think he can easily get you 20 plus goals. I love him.
Really intelligent
think
runs as well.
and not only that,
Really
yeah, exactly. And Greenwood,
And he's got to
alongside
stay
him,
fit.
his movement, mate. He can. The guys would be, even Rashford. The youngsters would be it would be criminal for them not to watch the way Cavani plays with his movement and everything else. And I think with Cavani, if he manages to get a few more minutes,
He's brilliant.
I think he could make a big difference. I really do.
He's that type of player that can make something happen. It's like if you look at the top bracket, the very thin line of top quality players, like for example Harry Kane, like Cristiano Ronaldo, like Messi, so forth, right? Yeah, they're the type of players that can make something happen
out of nothing.
And any given moment, especially under great stress. And I think that basically, even though you got your talent like Greenwood, talent like Rashford, and so forth, but you need those players that can really maturely pull it out of the bag. And Cavani is definitely one of those players. But if you look at his record so far, he is a top quality player. But can he last the distance in the season? Can he produce the number of goals and assists that Harry Kane can do? And that's what Man United is missing. But if you look back at our team, it's a case of like, you know, in my heart, I consider Harry Kane to be there. I think it'll be very, very difficult for that transfer to occur. And if it does, it's probably going to happen lastminute.com. So in other words, Harry Kane will be there for the first game of the season with Spurs. And it'll be that scenario that we thought before, where, you know, he's going to be there at the beginning and then he's going to be captain for both teams, which is crazy, right? But, you know, I believe, and as a Spurs fan, I'm always going to believe that this is the season. If we can pull it out, we get respectable top four. And that's what I think we want to do.
I think
can I just ask
Harry Kane?
Yeah, can I just
go.
Harry something?
Yeah.
Just wanted to ask Harry one thing, but it's a different. But it's a big one because we talked to Rami a second ago. But Van Dijk's back. Van Dijk is now back this season. So regarding Van Dijk last season, I've always been curious to this. I get different answers from different Liverpool fans. But after Van Dijk was injured, Gomez at pretty much the same time. Did you feel at the time that's it? Your hunt for defending the title was finished. It was over. Because I say this, I don't want to remind you of the game, but you did lose 6-2 to Aston Villa with Van Dijk playing last season. But I mean, personally, did you feel like after Van Dijk got injured, that was it? Your fight for the title was finished, well and truly finished.
It wasn't Van Dijk specifically. Obviously, for me, it was when we lost Gomez. So we had lost Van Dijk. But then Gomez was partnering with Fabinho, and if you notice, he partnered Fabinho quite well in a few games. We kept clean sheets, we kept winning. But I think the moment we lost both of them, Van Dijk and Gomez, and we had one fit defender who is a perpetually injured defender, Matip in any case, and that was the end of it. Because Liverpool's game is based on a high line. They play an ultra high pressure game, the Jurgen Klopp's Gegenpress. And that basically involves the team playing almost from the halfway line. And that for that to happen, you need two centre backs who are tall. So if teams try to bypass the press and play it long, they can hit the ball. You need two centre backs at the same time who are good on the ball because Liverpool keep the ball. And then you need two centre backs with a lot of pace, because then teams try to play again, try to beat the offside trap, and you need to be able to play in one-on-one situation with a pacey striker. Van Dijk and Gomez have all those skill sets. The moment you take two of them out, we're finished. We can't play the high line anymore, so the team drops deep. That affects your midfield. That then affects your output in the striking department because we don't win the ball up high enough. So we were affected throughout the team by losing these two centre-backs. And that's why they've gone out. They've got Ibrahima Konate now, who, if you look at him, exactly the same characteristics, and his stats prove it from Leipzig. Great on the ball. Exceptionally tall. He's 6'4". He wins everything in the air, and he's very, very pacey from what I've seen in preseason. His recovery pace is really fast. So that's the reason why we go for these centre backs who have these qualities, so we can play the way we want to play.
Okay. Before we come to this comment, Shane, what do you have to say?
I was just going to ask Harry. What does Jurgen have to do differently this year to get him challenging for the top again?
I think it's not. It's a great question. I think it's not the starting lineup, because if you look at our starting 11, it's up there with Man City. I think
On paper,
we've got
it's good.
three of the top. I mean, forwards in the business. And in midfield, the preferred starting three for Jurgen is Fabinho, Henderson, and Thiago, and they only played one game together last season for injury reasons. So those three will start, which is a brilliant midfield three. And then at the back, we've got two of the best fullbacks in the business. You've got Van Dijk, Gomez, you've got Konate as well, and then Alisson, probably one of the best keepers in the world. So the starting 11 is good. The issue we have is the strength and depth, which Mr. K mentioned as well. The strength of the bench, actually. And I think that's what he needs to work on. So we've got Jota coming off the bench for the front three, but I think we need another really good number 9 who can play in place of Firmino. So that's something he has to address. Someone who can get goals instead of Firmino, someone who can play, who can take his place from time to time. And then I think we need a midfielder to replace Gini Wijnaldum. Because Gini Wijnaldum's gone on a free. He played every game pretty much last season. Very underrated.
What a player. Everything. Got
and
everything.
we wanted him.
Absolutely everything.
And don't forget, he was a Newcastle player back in the day.
Harry, do you want Pogba?
This is the issue.
No, thank you.
This is the Look at how strong. Look at how strong the clubs are next year. Look at how strong the clubs are we're competing with as Spurs fans are next year. You've got Manchester United. They've brought in Sancho and Varane. They're linked with a centre mid like Saul Niguez. If they bring him in. They've got someone next to Pogba as well. Their biggest problem is they've got McTominay and Fred. So they've already got Varane and Sancho. So Man United are going to be they're going to be a different animal.
Comment, all right. Yeah. Let Harry react to this comment. United at this point in the window have closed the gap on M City technically with the additions of like Tommy was saying, Sancho and Varane. Okay. Do you feel you have actually closed the gap on M City? Because after that, we'll see M City pull the trigger on Grealish and Kane. So, how do you feel on? I mean, what do you feel? Do you feel that you actually close the gap on M City, Ram?
I think on paper probably, but the reality of the situation is that we have not seen how Varane is going to fit into the team. What's he going to do? How is Sancho going to do? But to be very honest, my biggest concern is always like what Tommy said, Fred and McTominay. I'm always having these issues with them, is that I don't think both of them can play in the same team. So I'm not happy with Fred. I think in order for us to be challenging for the title or even come close to City, I think we need some sort of a defensive midfielder like you mentioned, Saul Niguez, Kamavinga, maybe he will link with him at the same time. But also, I'm going to make a very controversial statement for all United fans. If they are watching this, I'm not really keen on Pogba staying in Man United. I want Pogba to leave. So Harry is rumored to link with Liverpool. So go ahead. He's all yours.
No, but if you get rid of Pogba, then the ideal replacement for him is Camavinga. The problem is Camavinga has been eyed up for the Spanish league.
Yeah, he's been eyed up for the Spanish league, but as you know, La Liga is going through a very big turmoil in terms of cash flow. So I think, the smart move for a young player of his caliber probably is to start in the Premier League, and I hope that he does. So if United can pull something off, he would be a good addition to the team.
Well, there was a clause in his...
Yeah, there was a clause, yeah.
There was a clause. I think it was like... faith in the youth. I was just going to say, Mr. K, you have a hell of a lot of faith in the youth. Camavinga, 18 years old, Scarlett, 17 years old. That's Skip, 20 years old. He's never really played in the Premier League. That is a risk in the Premier League. You can get away with it. We mentioned Ajax a lot. You can get away with it with Ajax in the Eredivisie. It's why it brings so many youth players through. You're going to win the title at Ajax regardless.
Yeah, but hold on a second. But wasn't
in the Premier League?
Yeah. No, I look at the way they play and the way they train. And for me, if they can train like Kane can, and if they can play on the pitch with maturity, then it doesn't matter what age they're at.
Yeah,
that's true. If you look at the top quality, I mean, some players, they genuinely, like, for example, maybe Delhi was, where when they're younger, they can perform at that level, and then they kind of drift away. And the top stars carry on growing, like Ronaldo kept on growing. So with me, I'll always look at the youth and I always look at the potential that's there and what they're physically showing me on the pitch. And when I see that maturity, like I've seen with Skip, like I've seen with Scarlett, right, I think to myself, they're more than ready. They just need to be trained with the first team. They need to get their confidence and self-esteem up that they deserve to be on that pitch. And that's all it is that if you look at people like, for example, Dele Alli, you know, he maybe his performance in the last season or two have been terrible, but when he gets on the pitch, he looks like he deserves to be on that pitch in terms of his self-attitude. And that's one of the things you need when you get in the Premier League. You need that burning confidence, that zero mentality saying, I do not accept failure. I'm going to put it all out there on the pitch. I'm not going to get bullied by opposition.
I agree with you with regards to the youngsters. If you're good enough, you're old enough, and you should be able to be integrated into the team. But I think they need to be integrated into the right team as well. I wouldn't even think about putting a bunch of youngsters into a team, i.e. from Spurs from last season when we weren't performing, we were constantly having that here we go mentality with regards to we're either going to lose or we're going to do. The reason why the fantastic kids at Man United worked when they were brought into a winning side, a winning mentality, a winning culture, and it was easy to integrate those youngsters. But I'm not bringing I wouldn't want to see a Scarlett and a Skip playing a team where we've got the likes of Sissoko and Winks right now. We need to improve that thing.
But
they are right. I think Scarlett has got it in him, but to ask so much of him. And another thing I'll definitely disagree with you, Mr. K, is Dele Alli has showed no fucking attitude or for the last 18 months.
No, forget Dele. I just mentioned him as an example, right?
In his car with a cap on, miming to a song than what he's done on the pitch for the last. He has officially been he's been worse.
He was captain of one of the friendlies. He was captain. We'll see, mate. They gave him the captain armband. Yeah, I know. Joe was dire. But coming back to the United point, right? Yeah, the United point was this with Fergie, right? Yeah, is when Fergie made that move of bringing in the youngsters, he basically created dominance of himself as a coach over the football club. We don't have that mentality no more. When you got big players, you can't drop them the way that he kind of dominated. Like he changed the whole shift and dynamics of what a manager can do at a club at a time when you could get away with it, right? Based on success. Whereas right now, they won't even allow someone to do that even for one game. Okay. So like if you look at Ryan Mason when he came in and he had 6 games to go, he went with tried and tested formulas that he knew. Now, fair enough, those tried and tested formulas don't work. But the point is, if you look at what he put onto the pitch, he didn't do. You know when AVB left, who's the guy with the hairlit? I've forgotten his name now. That Muppet that comes on thing with you. After AVB, forgot his name. Not Sheringham.
Sherwood got some young. Sherwood got some young.
Sherwood. That's it. Now the Sherwood, right? Yeah. What Sherwood did was he brought on a couple of youngsters, right? Like Harry Kane, he brought him on. Now that's because he was already involved. He was already involved in the youth setup, so he knew the potential of what those players could do. So when he stepped up to the plate, he said, I need some players that are going to play the way I want them to play, right? But I can't get rid of all the other players. So let me bring on 1 or 2 youth players. But no one has been able to dramatically change the shift to putting in complete youth players as a team and a squad that work together, right? So they have to integrate with the present squad. The problem we've got at Spurs is the present squad, bunch of bloody losers, right? They're going to, any new player coming in, they're just going to demoralize them like they did with Bergwijn, right? Bergwijn had the potential to become a top player this season, and he didn't do it. You know, why is that? It has to do with the rest of the team. Sorry?
He's still got the potential. He's just got to work on his finishing.
Yeah. His finishing is confident. You know what? The finishing always comes down to the confidence that you need. To be a finisher, you've got to have that burning confidence. And I think to a certain degree this season, if you look back along the sides of what's happened this season, Bergwijn was one of the unfortunate consequences of bringing Jose in. Yes. You know, what was Jose going to do? Stick him on the left wing? No, Son's there, mate. Can't do that. Stick him in the middle. Can't do that either.
Playing him as a right wing back.
But he's the right wing back is no good though. He is naturally a left winger inverted forward, where he cuts across and tries to score a goal from there. That's his natural position. He's got the pace, the bursting ability, that physicality. And when the first game he came on, you saw under pressure in a maze of players, he slotted the ball in. That's when he had the confidence when he came in. But after a season, he has to rebuild that confidence. Let's see if Nuno can do something about it.
You talk about rebuild.
Mr. K,
Eugene, I want to ask you a question, Eugene.
Yeah.
You know, I believe we are doing a rebuild, and I know Tommy's view on this as well. We are doing a rebuild, but I believe it's impossible for us, and I'd love to get Jamie's view on this as well. I believe it's impossible for us to have any form of rebuild without knowing if Kane's staying or going. I honestly think I think we need to know if he's staying or, and I will say this, you know, we all big up Kane for his loyalty and the way he's performed for us, and he's got Spurs through and through, Spurs in his heart. This is a time where he needs to show his true love for Tottenham, because he needs to come out and make a statement. He needs to come out if he loves Tottenham that much, come out, Harry, and say, guys, I'm going to move. I want to move. So we as fans can move on, and the club can move on and rebuild with a Harry Kane in the team or Harry Kane without the team. I tweeted out this morning, and a lot of people surprisingly actually agree with it. I don't know what your thoughts are. Don't you think we should, if Harry Kane has got Tottenham in his heart that much, he'd do the right thing by Spurs and say, yes, this rebuild will be done without me, or guys, I'm here to stay. Let's let
Jamie go ahead first.
Let's
go. He's not shutting his brother up. He's letting his brother Twitter on and whatnot. So, but his character generally, I think there's two scenarios. Well, there's three scenarios. He either is forced to stay and does an Ericsson and gets all antsy and whatnot. And then creates instability, or we build around him and he can see that there's something actually happening. But at his age, that's not the strongest option. Or he comes back from his post-Euro break and says, sorry, guys, I'm not going to mess you about. I'm moving on to new pastures. I would like us to build around him, but we're going to have to do some speedy work to make sure that we're not taking his prime away.
Exactly. Because our shift changes, doesn't it, Jamie? You know, right now, of course, defenders are a priority. But if Kane's leaving, mate, bringing in a striker becomes just as much as a high priority. And that's why I think we're not...
Do send from Florentino.
For me, it's right. It's very simple. When Conte came in, Conte didn't come in. His dream was over. That's all. His heart is no more at the club, right? He would move to Manchester United if he has to, if MCT is not paying the money and MU pays the money, right? And if Levy is willing to sell for the money that he gets, right? And if we get the money, right? And like Levy always does, right? He does everything lastminute.com. You guys see now? Look at our manager search, 70 over days. By the time we got our manager, look at our player signing. 60 over days, 80 days before we got a Loney goalkeeper and a Brian Hill, which is a lump of coal, like Brian Daigle says, right? Hoping to turn into diamond, right? But now, all the smoke and mirrors on Romero, okay? From day one, from the open transfer window, I said, Levy is not going to spend more than 25 million to 30 million pounds on a player. Look at it. Not including swap, right? We're happy. Lamela went on the other side, and somehow or another, before we got in a centre back, unless Tomiyasu is confirmed, we let Toby go. All right. So, like what Bob, you've been saying on your shows a lot, right? We have actually weakened our position instead of strengthening our position in this season. And there's about another 2 more weeks before the season starts. Actually, less than 2 more weeks, right? More or less for our game. 2 more weeks before we play our first game. 1 more 30 days before the window closes. Okay. Like I said now, okay, let's go to this point. In the transfers. What transfers we have done? What transfers Manchester United have done? What transfers Liverpool has done? So, out of us 8 here, who do you think has done the best transfers at this moment, at this point? And I'm sure all of us will say Man.U. Yeah, because Man.U has Sancho. But don't forget, Man.U went after Sancho for nearly 18 months before they got him, right? But at least they got him.
Yeah.
For a cheaper price.
Yeah, for a cheaper price. And they got him, right? And they went for Varane. And Varane's deal was done in less than 2 weeks.
Yep, that was a bargain too.
The thing is, Eugene, as well. The thing is, Eugene, a lot of people are saying, a lot of fan base saying, let's give Paratici a chance, and I absolutely agree with that. We can't, we won't know till there. But the thing is, where we are at the moment, is everyone's saying, well, he's given Paratici full control, mate. We're still picking up. Big up talking to. Yeah, big up, mate. We are still cleaning up that indecisive mess that Levy put us in.
We all over for Spurs fans like me and you, right? We know where the control is.
Of course,
it's not with Paratici. Come on, you see it, I see it, Mr. K see it, and I'm sure Tommy sees it now. Do you think
he's a puppet? Yeah, he's
the power is with
from the start. He's been a puppet from the start.
Yeah, it's never been.
He's hitching in the suit, mate. He's hitching in the suit.
Can I jump in here for a sec, guys?
Sure, go ahead, Harry.
So there's this almost acceptance that if Kane goes, he's going to go to Man City or Manchester United if he leaves. What about PSG?
What about Chelsea?
Pochettino's there. They've brought on Donnarumma on a free. They brought Ramos in on a free. They brought Wijnaldum in on a free. The only person they've actually spent money on is Hakimi. I think 60 million pounds.
Oh, he's a beautiful player. Brilliant player.
Mbappe on a free next season.
Sick.
Yeah, so they've got money
to
spend.
Question his ambition. You've got to question his ambition if you go to Paris Saint-Germain.
True, but father-like figure in Pochettino. I think the only weak area, maybe not even weak, but Icardi is not top if you ask me. I think Kane comes in, strengthens them with Neymar and Mbappe on each side. They've got money to spend as well.
I don't think his ambition has got to be higher. His ambition has got to be higher than that.
But the problem is that if you go to PSG, your ambition is the Champions League. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, because you're downgrading your domestic leagues that you're going into. So
you see, that's their
but guys,
target.
Have you noticed there's an awful lot of French players out there right now which are absolutely top draw. Top draw. Like if you look across the board of French players right here, you will find that they're in top teams. So the way I look at it is that there's a lot of talent coming out and has been coming out of France right here for the last 10 years. I mean, Benzema's not exactly like, a no-bit player. He's like the Harry Kane of Real Madrid, where they need someone consistently to keep producing goals. Mbappe, let's face it, there's talk of him going. Whether that's going to materialize or not, whether he's going to Real Madrid or not is another matter. If he does go to Real Madrid, then definitely they're going to be looking around for a player like Harry Kane. Now, Harry Kane, he's got those records in his mind. If he leaves this league, he's never going to break those records. He has to stay in this league. Now, the only way to stay in this league is to only look at 3 basic teams: Man United, Man City, Chelsea. That's it. Those are the only 3 teams that you can think about. Now, whoever's got the money to satisfy Levy will grab him. It's that simple. Now, whoever does get him, whichever team, is showing their intent of going for trophies. That's clear fact. So that's what Harry Kane said. He says, I want to be part of a team that shows clearly the intent of wanting to win silverware, right? So if whoever buys him, that's clear intent. They're not going to buy him and then say we're happy with top 4 or we're happy with second.
That's the exact point. That's what pisses me off about Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. We sit here and regard ourselves as a big fucking football team, and yet we haven't got the fucking big pants to put on and act. Mate, if we, with all due respect, right, Romero bringing in a replacement and all this, we should be going to Atlanta and saying, here's the money you want, that's the player we want. Give us a player, and if you're going to haggle, see you later. We'll fuck off somewhere else. With all due respect, we're bigger than Atlanta. We're fucking bigger than Romero. If we've got this money in the bank, we can go elsewhere and buy another defender. You want to be a big club? I consider Tottenham Hotspur to be the biggest club in the world. I know you guys will disagree with me, but that's my club. I expect them to act like a big club. So you go you get the player you want, and let them deal with a fucking replacement on their own. None of that. Okay, we'll dance to your fucking tune. No. We need a defender. That's the defender we want. Here's the money. See you later. And then on to the next. Tomiyasu. Suddenly we're not talking about fucking Tomiyasu. We apparently agreed terms with him about fucking 4 weeks ago before the Olympics. Now suddenly, oh no, we're gonna announce him after the Olympics. Fucking hell, Brian Hill's at the Olympics. We've signed him and negotiated and fucking got him to hold a fucking shirt. And Tomiyasu 4 weeks ago, no. It's all fucking smokescreen from the one and only, and I'm sick and tired of it. Go in, get that player, get your big boy pants on, and fucking do some business so we can show, as a club, intent, like Mr. K's just mentioned. Show some fucking intent.
Money.
Sick and tired of it.
Right.
Pay the bloody money. That's all I have to say is pay the bloody money. Exactly. Get them to hold up that T-shirt. Put that badge on, That's what we need.
That's why we come back to
Harry.
Hold on. Let's come to Harry, right? Harry, Liverpool. How many players have you all signed this season?
1, Ibrahima Konate.
But don't forget.
Wait! You bought a player. You bought a player at the beginning of the transfer window. You bought him for like 30 million or something.
Yeah,
I've forgotten his name.
Konate.
One player,
yeah.
But one player. But Liverpool buy their players early because after that, when Konate comes in as a defender, right, they have more or less have a settled system, correct?
Actually, the way they Michael Edwards is a brilliant operator in the transfer market. He's up there as one of the best football directors in the last 4 or 5 years in world football. And I think what he's doing is he's playing it smart. He notices the window is still a bit quiet. It's only recently that you see some of the big clubs making moves. And what he normally looks for is good deals out there. So I think he's picked up Konate. Then he's realized he needs to balance the book. So they're trying to trim the squad. They've sold 3 or 4 players. They're trying to sell Shaqiri, Origi, etc. And then I think he's saving his powder and he's going to go for one big signing in the forward area. Pretty sure we're going to close one big forward signing before the end of the window.
Harry, I can see that. I can see that with Liverpool. You're in that privileged position where you can do that, and I can understand why Liverpool do that because you've got a quality fucking team. We haven't got that right now. Where we stand, we've got a weaker team than what we finished with last season. We have got a weaker team with the loss of Lamela, regardless of what I thought of him, and Toby. We've got a weaker team. We haven't got. We can't sit there. We haven't got the privilege of sitting there and dilly-dallying. Maybe I'm just old school. Maybe I like the old school transfer window where you do a bit of fucking a bung. Speak a bit on the slide. I want that player. Here you go. Here's the money. See you later. I know it's not eBay. I know it's not fucking Amazon. But we need to show intent. Like Mr. K's just mentioned, intent is a must. And if we want to go to that next level, we need to bring a Romero in purely and simply. Regardless of what he's going to do on the pitch, it will show intent, it will show an ambition, and it will make other players sit up and take note because this guy was a defender of the season with it. And it will just, like I say, it will finally get that Skinner, Grealish, Dybala, whoever, over the line, finally. And we're still dilly-dallying.
I actually agree with that because, I think, as you pointed out rightly, I think Liverpool has a strong first 11. What they're trying to do is just strengthen the squad a little bit, bring in one top quality acquisition to provide competition to the front three. Spurs, on the other hand, you don't have a set front 11 now because I think you've lost a centre back, a starting centre back in Toby. Lamela, I mean, whatever said and done, was still one of the key players in the squad.
All the rest of shit.
Yeah. So and then you've got the Harry Kane situation, the cloud hanging over there as well. So I think in your case, you've got to make acquisitions to get your first 11 in place. Yeah.
But the timing.
Just I've got to head off, boys. I've got to head off. I've got to head off. Just before I go, I just want to answer a few of the questions that came up. Firstly, Bob's one about the Harry Kane situation. Should he does he owe us more? Does he owe us more to sort his future out? First, I just want to answer that with, for me, he doesn't. For me, Levy needs to sort the situation out. He holds all the cards. If he doesn't want Harry to go, Harry doesn't go. It's as simple as that. Whether Harry wants to go or not, I think Harry's done enough at the club. If he wants to go on the 31st of August, the last hour of the transfer window, he can. He doesn't owe us anything. If Levy's willing to sell him on the 31st of August, that's Levy. That's not down to Kane. That's down to Levy that he left it so long. As far as I'm concerned,
it's going to be the last week.
We've got no striker left. We should be buying a backup striker anyway. Regardless of whether Kane went or not, we should have a backup striker now. because we need a backup and we need a if Kane goes.
We got big. Yeah.
We needed a backup.
Okay, so we've got basically we've got Brian Gill.
We have 17-year-old Scarlett. We have 17-year-old Scarlett. We're going to put all our money on Scarlett. At the end of the day, it comes down to Levy. If he doesn't accept a bid, then it doesn't matter what Kane thinks. He's got a 3-year contract, so it doesn't really matter what Kane thinks. But also about the Kane ambition sort of situation, he'll go to Real Madrid. The only club he said he'll go to, other than Spurs, is Real Madrid. They are club enough for him. He said it 4 or 5 years ago, I think. The only club I'd leave just for is Real Madrid. So I could only really see that happening. And one more thing, I just want to say, Ramiro. We need to get Ramiro through the door. Yep. Okay, it's a risk. Of course, every transfer is a risk. And with the Argentine defenders, as Rami probably knows, Rome didn't exactly work out, and Fazio didn't work out for us, it's safe to say. But we've got to take that risk. You've got to take that punt sometimes. 40, 50 million pounds. Harry Maguire was a punt. Van Dijk was a punt. People will diss Maguire all they want, but I think Maguire's a supreme centre-back. And Van Dijk, we don't need to talk about Van Dijk. We don't need to talk about Van Dijk's magnificent. So put your money where your mouth is. To spend money, to bring players in, every sign is a risk. Every sign is a risk. But we've got to spend that money. We've got to spend, and we've got to do it fast. We've got 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks to the Man City game. We've got to do it fast. I'll do a stream in 2 days. I pray in 2 days' time. We've got that. I can sit here and say, yes, Romero deal's gone through. That'll be the first segment in my stream. I pray. We need someone.
And Tommy, give your channel a shout out.
Yeah, man. I usually do a stateside stream, but I'm not going to do that this week. I'll start releasing content in a couple of days. Tuesday, I usually do. I do weird times like that other people are not used to. So I do on Wednesday. I do a drive time stream like 5 o'clock. Then I do a lunchtime debate, 1 p.m. UK time, Thursday and Friday. So I do a little bit. My times are a little bit unique. So yeah, if you want to see some live content, pretty much every day released, then head over to my channel. It's just there, Tommy Talks Sport.
One thing I'll say about Tommy's channel is not just pure Spurs. The amount of different people he gets on his stream as well. If you're never sure about, Man United, I love the Leicester one as well, mate. That was a wicked one. So yeah, big up on that.
Yeah,
I love his lunchtime shows.
He's a good guy. Yeah,
Tommy makes the best lunchtime shows.
Definitely check out your channel. Can't wait.
Cheers for that, boys. Yeah, Ram and Harry, more than welcome. And this week in particular, I'm going to start doing a few more neutral streams. But yeah, thanks for your kind words. And before any of that, before you subscribe or go to anyone's channel, make sure you smash that subscribe on Eugene's channel right here. Get the likes up. And if you're watching on the recorded version, because this is the funny time for people, you could be watching the recorded version, do the same thing and comment away. Get the comments in, even if it's on the recorded version. So good to see everyone. And cheerio. I've got to have my roast dinner.
Good to see you.
Enjoy.
Nice meeting you, Tom. Very nice meeting you, Tom. Yep.
All right, thank you, Tommy. Catch up later.
Cheers, Tommy.
Yeah, we got one more guest coming in. You guys go ahead first, and let's see now. Ram, a question.
Yeah.
Would you pay £150 million for Harry Kane?
No.
Why not?
To be honest, I like Harry Kane. Like what Harry said, because we already have Cavani, so it's quite similar, in terms of player as well. And I think Kane is he's 27 now. Is that right? He's 27 years old. So I think Kane, would definitely do better if he goes to either Chelsea or Man City, in my opinion, because if he does leave, I think those are the two clubs that probably he will fit in, very well immediately, in that sense, in my opinion. Because I remembered when Spurs came to Old Trafford and you guys won 6-1. When I was obviously devastated, but when I saw the way Spurs played, I thought they were definitely a team to be reckoned with. But after that, of course, they fell back. They fell back. But I think with Duno coming in, I think if he can actually keep Kane there, and of course whatever efforts it takes to keep him there, I think you guys will definitely have a good season as well ahead.
Yeah. Well, Ollie's still interested in Kane and Haaland, so you may be eating your words.
I'd rather Haaland than Kane. So
Bobby. Bobby, can you drop Danny's? Can you drop the link to Danny?
Of course, can mate. Yeah.
I've dropped it to the Coins Right. I'm not sure whether he's got it, but he says
no
he'll hop on.
Guys, I just want to make a quick point about the fans that are watching right now and the viewers that are watching. I mean, I'm going to see comments today and possibly the rest of this week. But with me coming back into the panels and the streams and so forth, listen, I really, really appreciate everyone that has been watching, that will watch this in the future and say, hey, it's good to see Mr. K come back. Honestly, it's the community. It's these guys around you. All of these guys plus more. It's the overall wider community. I'm never going to walk away from you guys. Never. We started this journey last year, when there was like maybe 5 viewers, 3 viewers, 6 viewers watching a particular channel. I mean, Bob, congratulations. You got 1,000 viewers. Congratulations, mate. Big up. Honestly, I feel so proud. Thank you very much for coming along with us on this journey, because this journey is not just your journey. It's also our journey too. We're finding out information by talking to each other. Here we have other fans from other teams, and they're also going through the similar type of journey where this season, this COVID thing that's happened, maybe in a way it's kind of helped us to say enough is enough. Watching Sky News, watching the BBC, watching ESPN, watching the official Spurs channel or whatever channel that you've got that you watch officially. It's us, the fans, that are talking to each other, that are sharing our opinions with each other. That's the most important thing. This dialogue that we're having, sometimes it goes into banter mode, sometimes it goes off point. But the most important thing is this is real. This is how we really feel. There's no scripted agenda. There's no, someone in an office somewhere telling us what we need to talk about, what we can't talk about. We're talking about what, if I feel something, there's people out there that feel the same way I do. And if there's something that Eugene feels, or something that Bob Spur, or something that Jamie, Shane, and Harry, and Ram, there are fans out there in the millions that feel like we do. And what we represent to each other is a voice, an opinion to get out and about. And by putting this out onto YouTube and other types of platforms, we're making this permanent. And all of these channels now have started to grow above 1,000. And that's the magic threshold that you need to exist. All right. So by supporting each other, I think if you look at Bob, for example, Bob never, ever used to promote his channel. The guy was on everyone else's channel. He used to call himself, the YouTube slag. But the point was, without him, without not just him, but without Eugene, without Jamie, without even Shane, without these guys coming on, including like Cody Mack, for example, they used to come on and share their passion. And I want you, the fans out there, to consider where you are right now. You're sitting at home. You're typing something into the chat. If you haven't typed something in the chat, please type something into the chat. Let us know that you're out there, because to do this, sometimes you need that interaction with the users to give you that more self-esteem, confidence to do this again and again and grow this. So I really, all of you guys out there that are watching right now, if you've never, ever clicked a like before, click a like here. If you've never typed a comment before, please put something in the comment, put something in the chat. If you're live, put something in the chat. If you have the ability where you have a mobile phone, if you have a mobile phone, come just out here and just give us 2 pence. Just say, hi, I'm a fan and this is what I feel. Thanks for letting me on your show. And bye. Just do that. Take that step. Come on. You never know how you're going to be welcomed by us. I did this. I was a guy that was just like to chat something in the chat comments. And then someone said something online, and I kind of like got really hot under the collar, and I jumped on. You don't have to get hot under the collar to come on. We just want to hear your opinion. We want to hear how you feel, because that's what we're doing right now. We're sharing these feelings with each other. We're not here for the latest news. We're not here for the latest insight into what's going on in the world. We're here to share our passion with one another. And that's really what all I wanted to say. Shane, you wanted to say something. Please do.
Just hold on, Shane. Let me bring on one more guest.
Yes, guys.
Yes, you
Hi,
can.
hi. Okay, this is
Yeah.
the kid, Daniel.
Bobby, Bobby,
Daniel.
Bobby, hold it in, hold it in.
Let introduce you to Ram. Ram
He
is
knows me. He knows me.
Hello. Hi.
from
Hi.
is an MU fan, and Harry's a Liverpool fan. Yeah, and they're both from Malaysia, from my home country. Yeah, and their channel is called The Plot Malaysia. Right, and I'm sure you know the rest of the people on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, I've got one more guest to bring in.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Hi, Danny.
Hey.
And okay, hold on.
The
This
bun is in the
Danny,
house.
and he's AKA the bun. You look at his hair.
Yeah, the bun is in
Thank
the
you
oven.
for him. He's first time on my channel, right?
First time,
he's
yeah.
breaking his virginity on my channel. And just to introduce Danny, you know all of us apart from Harry,
12-year-old on the street.
a Liverpool fan, and
Nice to meet you, man.
screen virginity.
Nice to meet you. Cheers.
And Ram from Manchester United. So we've been
Nice to
going
meet you,
around
Ram.
for some time now.
And
How you
actually,
doing?
he's 13 now.
Oh, 30. Yeah. That's all right then, Jamie.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Hold on. Let's
Shane
get back
wants
to
to say
Shane.
something.
Shane first.
Yeah.
Shane, you want to say something, Shane?
It's getting late. It's after midnight here, so I'm actually gonna have to call it a night.
Big
You
It's
can. It
quarter
is.
past-
It's a night. Look, there it is.
It's the morning.
Yeah, it's quarter past 12. So
Great to hear your
I
voice,
think
Shane. I love hearing your voice.
I think I'd better call it quits for the night. I'm getting pretty tired. So
Yeah, audio
Shane?
treacle.
Shane? I'll say it before you do. Piss off, mate.
Okay, Shane. Shane, thanks for your support.
It's said in love.
Nice to meet you,
See you
Shane.
again next week. And get a good sleep and rest. You're going to work tomorrow, right?
no, I've got tomorrow off.
Oh, that's
Unless
good,
I
that's
get
good.
called in.
No. But Shane, because Brisbane is in total lockdown now, but Shane is an
Yeah.
essential worker.
Yeah, I
and you
work in
wouldn't
a
know.
bottle shop.
Yeah, he's an essential
Bullshit.
worker, you know. So big up, all right. And thanks a lot for joining
All
and
right.
supporting the channel, Shane. Bye.
Big up,
Yeah,
Shane.
cheers, guys. Bye.
See you later, buddy.
Cheers, Shane.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just to let Harry and Ram know, right? Piss off is a term of endearment for us here.
Yeah.
And everybody says it to everybody among the Spurs family. Okay, so
Yes.
if you,
Oh,
you
Yeah.
just have to get
Starred
used
by
to it.
Bobby, though. Bobby
yeah,
starred.
yeah.
Hey, Bob, you got a show that's called the Piss Off Show.
Yeah, I know. I've got piss off Levy shirts coming out soon, so
Yeah.
I need to.
And
I
okay,
need to do that.
since the new guest on the show now is Daniel the Yit Kid and Danny, right, aka the Bun. So guys, how have you been doing? Still waiting for the Romero news.
Go on, you kid.
Pretty much. I mean, just like we waited for the Dybala news, just like we waited for the Ruben Diaz news, just like we waited for all the news in the Tottenham Hotspur transfer market. We know how we do our business. We wait for the last day of the window, and I wouldn't be surprised if we sign him this week, but not anytime. Like, I expect him that we'll sign him for Thursday, because I think that Nuno Espirito Santos is pushing to sign him before the City game because he wants to have him in his starting 11. And another thing is that I've heard a lot of people saying that they want that they're not understanding why the Davison Sanchez and Eric Dyer are out. Now, this is one that I actually understand now at this moment, because if we don't sign Romero and the Manchester City game comes up, we're not going to have any center backs. And obviously, I would hate it to be that against Manchester City, our center backs would have to be Eric Dyer and Davison Sanchez. But I would much rather it be Eric Dyer and Davison Sanchez than not even have a center back. So that's my personal take on it. And have you guys even seen the news that Barcelona, Juventus, and Real Madrid still want the Super League to happen?
Yeah.
We
spent a while talking about that.
It's not going away, you kid. I don't think it's no surprise it's come back. We just got to wait in what format it comes back in, because as horrible as it is, and the thought of it coming back is horrible. I think it's too bigger not to go away, and Stuart Gallop said that. I remember the first time it came out. it's too bigger.
We've been
There's
saying
too much
so,
money
yeah.
involved for it to go away. So let's just hope it comes back with a different construction and it appeases some hardcore fans like ourselves.
What I think is gonna happen with that is all the Premier League clubs and the other clubs that signed up for it said that they can't leave the thing. So now what I forgot the name of the Real Madrid chairman is, but he's
Perez.
gonna want
Perez.
Perez is gonna Perez is gonna want to take at least 100 mil from each of these clubs, and that will leave them in bankrupt if we can't buy.
I think it's 300 mil if you want to leave. You got to break that contract. Yep, 300 mil, not 100 mil.
And we can't even buy a player for 20 mil. And we can't even buy a player for 20 mil. Like, it's not, it's just, I don't even know why we signed up for that thing. If we do get back into that, this is why I think we're going to end up going back into it, because we're not going to have the money to pay it. And we know who is in charge of the money, Daniel Levy. He's not going to want to pay 300 mil. And then we're going to end up in the Super League again. But
Do you know what you'd kid though? People got to remember. I was saying this on the streams last night with Matt Hayes and also Bob's channel. No one's left the ESL. No one's left it. That's what people have to remember.
No one's left.
No one has left it.
We said this before.
Every single club is they've started preliminary sort of proceedings to leave. It's like, we're gonna leave. Yeah, we're gonna leave. It's like, okay then, all right, put your money where your mouth is, sort of thing. But it's never gonna happen because there's too much money involved. The ESL is inevitable, no matter what.
But Danny, you said this at the beginning though. You said this when the fiasco first started. You said this hasn't gone away.
Yeah, I did.
No one signed off for it, and it was those little details rather than the big slogan banners that you saw in the media that were the really important things. It's like they said the big things, but they said we're sorry, we didn't anticipate this. We were trying to do for the best, but we realized we were wrong. But no one ever turned around and said, "That's it. This is done and dusted. That we've now killed it." No one said that. In fact, if you look at our chairman, he didn't even apologize.
No.
He apologized for something else. I'm sorry that you feel this way. That was his apology.
Yeah, even the apologies that happened were meaningless now. It's not totally meaningless. Like from United or Liverpool, it's all just meaningless.
Just for show.
At least you guys had a video from your chairman saying that. What did we get? We got a last minute.
We had a video from We had a video from Levy, telling us about how he loves money, isn't it? Really, basically,
it like,
pretty much telling us
out of a James Bond film. But listen, it's good to see you. Good to you two guys, the Yid Kid and Danny. Honestly, I missed you guys an awful lot.
Yeah, it's been a while.
There's so much sense you guys talk about. One of the reasons why I came onto this show is the first show back. Is because one is a Sunday. Secondly, Lukman, I love what he does, how he supports people. But it's one of those type of afternoons where maybe if you have been away for a while, then this is the perfect place to come back. I'm really glad you two guys are on the panel as well. Bob, you can piss off now. But honestly, it's I will be going out to other shows and panels back like I was before, supporting people in the comment sections, in the chat channels, and so forth. Exactly, Bob. But I'll be on your channel as well, mate. Watch. But no, it's one of the reasons. But guys, we've got transfers which are currently going on. Is there anything interesting in any of them apart from this Romero fella? That's it. Is there anything else on the grapevine?
Also, I've heard Lloris is missing training because he wants to push his contract. So it's not all.
Not all rosy at the moment, But hold on, guys. I just want to give Ram and Harry one more last say because they have to leave soon. So, guys, Ram and Harry, why don't you just have your last? I mean, introduce your channel to the people watching, and have a last say on how you feel about your owners, the ESL, and of course the transfer window. Why don't we start with Ram?
Thanks a lot, Eugene. And of course, to everyone over here, it's been an amazing couple of hours. I really enjoyed every bit of it. Looking forward to also work with you guys in the future again, definitely. Our channel, The Plot Malaysia, of course, we just started off in February this year itself. So it is a platform for all football fans to have a voice. So myself and Hari, so a United fan and a Liverpool fan in one channel. But we actually give opportunities to all football fans, Spurs fans, Leeds fans, Everton fans, any football fan to come on, give us their thoughts and opinions, and of course, just enjoy the banter and have some fun. That's basically what we do. And on the Glazers, like what you want me to talk about, I'm definitely Glazers out. I can't stand them, and I just hope that some rich prince from Middle East, buys United, and do something about it. So I'm just hoping that ESL doesn't go through. I think all of us have the same sentiments as well. We don't want it to go through, but I guess if it does, end of the day, we're still going to support our clubs. But I'm definitely not for the ESL at all. So, and I want to say thank you once again, guys, for having us. It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah, I just subscribe to your channel, guys.
Yep. Welcome. Thank you so much.
We'll support you, but we won't actually come over to the other side in that respect, though. We'll give you support. We'll support you as friends, as you said earlier. Friends outside the stadium, and when it comes to the match, then
another 6-1
tune.
Another 6-1 wouldn't go missing, would it? So
that's a good question, actually. Someone just said I would swap Levy for Glazer. With the money he's spending, I'd definitely swap him.
100%.
I'd definitely 100%. Swap him.
Yeah. Would you want Ram? Would you want Levy?
I think it's hard for me to say, but I think from what you guys are talking about, I don't think so.
I think that's where he's happy that the Glazers are there, because he's lucky he doesn't have someone like Levy.
Let me ask you guys a very interesting question before we sign off. Since you're talking about Levy and Glazers here, why not do a trade-off, guys? Why not the two of you do a trade-off? Levy goes the other way and Pogba goes the other side. Oh, well, that one.
I'll take that.
We get Pogba and MU gets Levy.
Yeah, but you know about 2-3 years ago.
What position are you playing?
2-3 years ago,
he'll be the Glazers mascot.
No, but seriously, guys, 2-3 years ago, there was an awful lot of opposition fans that turned around and said, "We respect the fact that you guys have got Levy. We wish we had a chairman like Levy." In terms of how he negotiates for the club, how he wants to build bigger dreams. What they're now starting to realize is that, you could have all the fancy dressings, but you won't have no meat and bones.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's primarily what the message. I think all these Spurs channels that we've now been created have been sending that message out consistently, where people are now starting to realize what type of characters that are really at our club, and that sort of mysterious cloak that Levy used to have around him, where he used to look like magnanimous father of the club. I think that's really been shot. And I think, big up everyone that's made the effort in the last 12 months to really put their voices out so other people can hear. I mean, we're always going to have those people that love Levy, but hey, what can we do?
I mean, I haven't yet, as my 6 years of supporting Tottenham, I haven't found one Levy.
He's been supporting them half his life.
I haven't found one Levy fan.
Oh, there's a lot of them out there, man.
I'll find you one.
There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, he wants to find them and put them on his channel. Bob has been trying to do that for a long time. All of us have been trying to do that for a long time.
Yeah, I've got one coming.
Maybe there's some maybe there's some robots that like Levy created that go out. I love Levy and the media, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's a Levy inner." Because I haven't.
Yeah, you're right. There is. I think what it is there's an awful lot of people out there that just don't put their voice out. They don't necessarily. So the ones that do put their voice out, it sounds a lot more. So the vast majority of fans that are Spurs fans, they just haven't had their voices come out. So we got fans like us, for example, we're just saying Levy out. There's people on the other side in other social platforms that will back up the actions taken by Levy. They won't necessarily say Levy in. They won't even say Levy out at all. But they will do is they will turn around and say, okay, but this is a move. Oh, we can't help it. We don't have the money. Or we have to sell someone before we buy someone. They'll do all that type of malarkey. And really, you're right. Maybe they're bots, or maybe there's an arrangement, or maybe that's just the way those particular characters are. It's a strange thing in the Spurs community. We've got a vast spectrum of people, just maybe same as the Man United and same as the other clubs out there, where you've got people that have seen too much, the truth, in other words. They see what's really going on. Like, look at Danny, for example. Nothing comes up that gets past Danny or Brian Daigle. Nothing. We might all get excited about something, but they'll be telling us, nope, they ain't happening. Right? I mean, come on, let's face it. A lot of us seriously thought maybe Conte's getting through the door, right? A lot of us thought that was going to happen. And the reality was,
here we go.
but people like Danny, people like Brian Daigle, and other people like him, which have seen way too much, they're always going to tell us, no, that's not true. And at the time when they did that, we thought, oh, they're just being pessimistic. No, that's not true. They're spot on. They understand the characters of the people involved. They don't get swayed by the razzmatazz of the media. And I think now the fans are starting to wake up, whether they're United fans, Liverpool fans, whoever fans they are. They're starting to wake up that there's all this razzmatazz in the media and by some of the fans themselves that constantly keep muddying the water and preventing the serious topics to be discussed. You know, so it's like that to a certain degree, I believe.
Yeah. Guys, big up to the guys who want to go. Yeah.
You guys got to jump off. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet all of you today.
Yep.
Going to check out all the channels as well. So it's an absolute pleasure. And good luck for the season ahead.
Thank
Good
you.
luck, guys. Thanks once again.
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice meeting you guys. And we have to keep in touch. Don't lose that. And I do the show every Sunday. I mean, if you're free, hop on anytime. Let me know. If you just want to hop on and have a chat.
Rivalries aside.
Yep, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Take care, guys. Take care. Nice meeting you.
Okay, thanks for coming out.
Okay, good having you.
Bye.
Eugene, take care.
Bye.
Big up, buddy. Oh, piss off. Oh, I forgot to tell him to piss off.
I know. I was just about to say. I'm surprised about
Oh, man.
It's their first time. It's their first time. We have to be.
We'll get them back again.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. We just be gentle. We have to be open to the global viewpoint of other teams as long as we don't let them infiltrate.
No, I think what it is, I think it's important that we've got a consensus amongst the fan base of what's going on, the issues that connect us all together, especially this thing like the Super League. Also, the actual Premier League itself. Don't forget, we can discuss things like, for example, VAR. Because don't forget, VAR's making big difference in the way that we support the club, the passion of watching the moments live. So this is the cross, the hashtag football first has to be used when it comes down to all the fans. We can put our rivalries to one side when we discuss these type of issues. And I think a Sunday show is brilliant for that.
You can still say to them, I think they're still watching.
Oh, guys, if you're in the back, piss off.
No, they're watching it on YouTube, I think, because they are putting Plot Malaysia. I think you can put a comment in there for them.
Maybe we'll visit you in one of your video blogs.
One thing is that they don't do live at the moment, but they do plan to. Like what Ram and Harry said earlier, they will be doing live in 1 or 2 months' time. But like for me, I'm very weird. I don't like to do recordings. I rather have them live, right? So at least I get the real unscripted emotion from the fans that you can see in the face. And now let's go into real Spurs things, right?
Yeah. But what I will say, Eugene, they did a stream 2 months ago, right, regarding the ESL. It is a watch and a half. Honestly, watch it if you can. It's called ESL and Fuck Off Woodward or something like that. It is absolutely RIP ESL. It is a watch and a half. Watch and a half. Really.
Well, if they go live, we can do the return fixture.
That's it, when they go live. But I think I'll be joining them. I'll keep in contact with them because they do take football fans from all over, right? Yeah. And when they do a recording, if you want to hop on, I'll just drop the link for you guys to see where they can hop on and do a show with them on the recording. Yeah, right now. And now, my most interested person, right? Danny the Bun. I want to know your Romero feelings.
Oh my God.
Well, I was saying it with Matt Hayes last night on his channel, and for me, it's just look. If there's one, what I'm gonna say is right. You could be literally on the verge of the player about to sign the contract, and he's in the room. The pen is in his hand, and then Levy calls and says, no. Or Atalanta boss says, no, they've changed the deal. It's not happening. And they'll be pulling Romero away from signing that deal, and the deal's done. That is literally what Tottenham can do to you. And that is why I will not. I'm with Bob, right? I want to get that. I want to get Bob's famous quote trending because it's the best quote. Until they're holding the shirt, that is when that player, I believe, is at Tottenham. And
well, you'll be able to hold the shirt soon because Bob makes them.
I always say at the club.
Yeah, I think Danny's XL or maybe a medium.
But like I said, from Bob, I've been putting on the Spurs family chat, right? About the scenario of Levy and signing Romero, right? So I guess it's always the 5 million difference that we always can never meet. But right?
What the heck is with this 5 million figure every time?
Did you see what
every time?
It's not only
guys,
5
it's
million.
BS.
Always.
BS. Yes. Because that last 5 million, right, is saving him grace. Because he didn't go up to the amount that the people really wanted. So to save him face, right, he has to say that, oh, I went for a higher bid, but they didn't accept it, right?
Yeah,
I put in 55, but they wanted 60, right? And 2 packs of chips, and I can't afford it, right? So
he offered 55. He offered 55 and 60 tickets to the Skywalk.
That's the thing is that throw him off.
It's not only 5 mil. He also didn't want to let Conte have the 5 extra.
But do you know what, you kid, right? It's worse. It's even worse than that because it's 5 million euros. That's not even 5 million pounds. That's like 3 million pounds. That's even worse. So for the sake of 3 million pounds, I mean, it's madness when you think of it. But look, I'm gonna say how I think that what the situation is at the moment. I personally think that they're holding off until they've got a confirmed replacement or they're happy with what they've got because. It's like I was saying yesterday, right? They are within their rights to do that, right? Let's not forget that it's their play, he's their best player. If that was us and Harry Kane, we'd be doing the same thing until we've got a replacement, until we know we've got something lined up. So you can understand it, right? But it's just for us, they want it done straight away. They want it done as soon as possible so he can start pre-season because they want him available for Man City. Supposedly, that's what we've heard, the reports. But look, I don't care if it means getting him on the last day. If we get him in, we get him in. I don't give a shit. As long as we get him in, that's all I care about. But if Tottenham, the only thing I can see, this is what I said yesterday, the only thing I can see happening is 2 things. One, the agreement is within the next day or so, right? So it's done. Or Tottenham pull out because they don't want to wait because they're scared that if they wait, they're not going to get the other targets that are available. That's the only other thing. And if they do that, then for me, I think Spurs done this season. If they don't get Romero, I think I honestly, you've just lost your best defender, right? And I don't care if they bring in Milenkovic. He's not at the level of Romero. Like that's a given. Like they're not at that level. Romero is one of the top centre backs in the world right now in form. He went in the top 10 at least, if not more. So 100%. So for me, they don't get him. Like people expecting Spurs to challenge if they get some or to get a challenge for top 4, should I say, right? But you got to remember, we had the 2 best centre back pairing in Europe at the time when we were in and around that sort of challenging for the title, right? And you need players of that ilk, that level, that kind of mentality to even challenge for top 4 nowadays. When you look at Aston Villa, what they're doing, they've gone and signed Leon Bailey. I know they're going to lose Grealish, but they're going to probably get in a couple other players as well. They've got a brilliant defence, right? They've got a very good defence. They've got a good midfield as well. They've got a young forward in Ollie Watkins. And now they've gone and bought Bailey, Buendia. They've got some good players, man. So Leicester have gone and got Patson Daka and who's the other guy they signed? Samare. So they've strengthened as well. So everyone is strengthening. And unless we get top quality players in like Romero and some other players, then we're not gonna compete next year for top 4.
What I don't get, Danny, a lot of people are saying, everyone knows that Spurs need a defender. That's why the price goes up. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, fair enough. That's the transfer market. But what I don't understand is that it's common fact as well that Atlanta need the money as well.
Yeah,
there isn't anyone else who's coming in for 55 million euro to Atlanta. We've got every right to say, Atlanta, 55 million euros of money that you want, take it or we're going. And Atlanta, I guarantee you, they are not going to, regardless if they get a replacement in or not, because believe me, they'll find a replacement sooner or later. But they're not going to say, no.
But
go away with
the way Levy does deals, right? Yeah, especially when they're 50 million pounds or 60 million pounds, is he does not pay them 50 or 60 million pounds. So the negotiation behind the scenes, right? Yeah, generally tends to be Like, how much of what you're going to give us is now, and how much of it is going to be later on. Now, with Atlanta, if they're money strapped and they're losing a top player, they're going to want more of that change.
Mr. K.
They want more of it before they can let go. And at the same time, depending on how much money they get, it determines what type of player they're going to get in replacement. So these levy games that happen with these 5 millions and all the rest of it and spreading things over 30 years, right, isn't going to help teams like Atlanta. So Atlanta's sitting there going, okay, fair enough. We're going to get money from this team here, but we're not getting it in the way that we want it. That's going to benefit us. Maybe somebody else might jump in as well. But the way I look at it is it smells of levy.
No, but do you know what? Do you know what, Mr. K? Yeah, Atalanta don't need the money. That's why the reports are that the payments that they've structured is over multiple years.
Yeah.
Like if they're doing it over 4 years, right? It's roughly what they want is about £11.75 million a year, right?
Yeah.
Or euros. Sorry, no, it's in pounds. £11.75 million, right? That's not a lot of money. Now, if that is the case and that's how they've structured the deal, but the only thing they need to do now is actually put pen to paper on an agreement, it's probably because they're only going to be getting £11.75 million this season, right? Which means they need, if they want another defender, they need to make sure they've got that signature in the bank and him sign before they can say, right, now you can get Romero. Because if it was like Man City, who came in and said 55 million, one hit, one go, no 5-year payments, I guarantee you he would have been sold by then. It's because they've now got the security that they can go and buy a centre back, whoever they want with that sort of money, right? Yeah. It's just that because they haven't got the even though they're going to get the money over a long period where it's more sustainable for them as a business, right? But in terms of in terms of trying to get a replacement, they're talking about Dermoral, right? 30 to 35 million euros. That's a big hit. Right? In one go. Now, if Tottenham are paying that structured payment, they're not going to have all that money from that deal. So it all depends on if they can get that replacement in, and if they are waiting for it, then that's how I see it. So, and also the other thing as well, right? You got to remember, right, before you say something, right, you got to remember that if the player is pushing, right, like Gasperini has come out and said already that he thinks that the new signing should be enough cover for Romero if he goes, and he's also said we have to take into account pretty much the player's decision and what he wants, because if there's a player in his team that doesn't want to be there, I'm sure that he wants to speak to the club and say, look, you need to try and work out a deal now because he doesn't want to be here, and I don't want players who don't want to be here. Like, and this is the thing. So
but Danny, the thing is, right,
as well.
No, but Danny, the thing is, we have a track record. When we look at the way people do business, we have got a track record of the way Levy does it. Whenever you hear the words, the talks are stalled, whenever you hear the word, the talks have stalled, my heart, I know 100% that's Levy meddling. Now, what comes out in the media, what comes out in the channels will be excuses that will try to paint the other side in a bad light. And generally speaking, every team is going to want value for their players. Value, just like Levy does. He will hold out until he's got the value. So if there's a stall somewhere, I guarantee you that stall's from our side, where we're not matching what their expectation is, or what they're demanding, we're not giving to them. And that generally, that's where it's going to stall. And I think, this is the problem we've got to have all this summer. But we're hoping that Paratici will bring the players to the table. But at the end of the day, the negotiation at the table has to be finalized by Levy.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like Fabrizio Romano was saying on his Twitch stream yesterday that it wasn't. Obviously Paratici is dealing with the transfer, right? But it was the contact with the board, so that would be including Paratici and the board who they were speaking to yesterday. And this is the problem. If you're involving the Tottenham board, obviously Levy's part of that board, then what do you expect? I mean, look, did you see what Cody put in the comments about? I mean, if that's true, then if that starts coming out and Fabrizio retweets that and all the rest of them start tweeting that, then it's exactly what I kind of expected. I expected it. It's because Tottenham won't pay. For me, it's Tottenham won't pay what they want. On top of that, they won't wait for Atalanta to do what they want to do, and that's the problem.
The Atlanta chairman, the Atlanta chairman is doing what Levy does to every other club.
Yeah,
but guys, haven't you seen this before, right? The ding dong deals that we go through. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. zero. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, zero. See, whenever it goes into ding dong, it ends up with zero.
You've just turned yourself into a meme, Eugene.
Somebody clip that.
Clip. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong.
Zero.
Somebody clip that. Right?
I'm gonna have that as my ringtone. I'm gonna have that as my ringtone.
You guys think that?
But we have seen it. You know, Daniel. Not that much, but for me and Bob, right? We've been 40 over years fans of this club, right? Every time a deal that goes to that kind of scenario, it never happens 99% of the time.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen.
And the deals that happen, right, is that we don't hear about. You know, remember the Skriniar issue? Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, and we get rolled on.
Jamie, you're gonna have to help me with that one.
We're gonna have to rinse that one. Rinse.
Eugene, but don't you guys think that the Super League is gonna affect this transfer?
No.
No,
nothing.
If Levy has to pay 300 mil for the Super League, he's gonna be like, I don't have any money for it.
No, they're not leaving.
No, they're not.
No, because
it's news at the same time, but not together. It's news at the same time about something else, but not the usual rigmarole that you get in the summertime, which is like players getting transferred around.
But what's the point of the fan in the board? Because he hasn't done nothing. Remember that fan that says
free lunch.
Who is the fan?
Okay.
Free lunch.
Daniel.
The fan in the board, right, is to appease the trust.
No, it's not, Eugene. It's an imaginary person. Mate, it's an imaginary person. It's no one. It's never going to be anyone.
Danny, the trust, our Tottenham Hotspur supporters' trust is imaginary too.
Yeah, I know. Of course they are.
You get what I'm saying? So they're going to get someone from THST, right, to sit on a board, which is actually Levy's yes man, right? And in the end of the day, if you put a fan on a board, right, and the board has like 13 people and you're just one person, you will never have a say.
Yep.
You'll be just silenced because you don't have the majority for you. You see, so the fans on the board is just another smoke and mirrors thing again. Okay, after they've came up with a statement, after what they said, right? Have we seen any kind of information coming out? How are we going to get that person on the board? No, it's all been swept aside again. So
Chris Cowden's got his nomination in it.
Can I just ask you a question, all of you?
This statement there with Chris, I believe you sit in the background, guaranteed. We all know if it was left to Paratici Romero, a deal would have been.
100%.
And that's the exact reason. And Danny will back me up. I'll never, ever, ever, I'll never have, and I never will go against Hitchin. Say anything bad about Hitchin, because I think if he was given the same checkbook and everything, we'd be seeing the whole same thing in being. We were linked with Skriniar, Grealish, with Bruno, with Dybala.
I mean, if people choose to ignore what's happened with Franco Baldini, Frank Arneson, Paul Mitchell. Paul Mitchell quit his dream job. His fucking dream. Sorry for swearing. His dream job.
I've done
right?
I've done it already.
Like literally, right? His dream job. For him to quit his dream job because of a man like Daniel Levy not allowing him to do his job, it tells a lot. And he was building a good young core English squad with Pochettino before. They worked well together. And he left, and as soon as he left, it went downhill with the transfers. And this is the problem. And it's like, if this is the same situation again and again. And I want to ask you, right? Just give a yes or no answer, everyone. Like, do you think we're going to sign Romero? Yes or no?
No. Yes, but after Atlanta signed Demiral.
Bobby?
You know my thoughts, mate. The fan inside me says, yeah, we definitely will. My 40 years of sporting Tottenham, 20 years of Levy says no. So
I'm the same as you.
That's probably on the fence.
Bobby, have you cancelled your Amazon order of Kleenex?
That makes three of us.
Me personally, I think happen. But I think my heart's going to say yes, it's going to happen. The reason why is because we've got a new manager, we've got Paratici. We haven't really made a big signing yet, and there's a sign of intent, as Bob was saying. Look, at the same time, we have to show some level of intent, and there's going to be some player that they're going to have to bring over the line. Now, however financially they do that, that's going to be between a game between the board and Atlanta. But I personally believe that the hoo-ha that they've made over Romero And the fact that Romero is still there talking about the club like he wants to move there, it's not like a Kunde where he turned around and said, you know what, allow this. I'm bigger than the club. I got now that Spurs are talking to me, other clubs have joined in. Sometimes that's what happens. You start talking to Spurs, and then one of the big clubs will step in, and they're using them as a stepping stone to get somewhere else. Whereas I believe that this particular maneuver is actually there to replace Toby. We need to.
True, we need to, right? You say that, but it's just like that season when we even Bruno Fernandes came out and said that Tottenham had agreed terms with him, and the fee was pretty much on the table, but they were waiting to sell Eriksen, and then because they were trying to get too much of a high price, they didn't sell him. So then we didn't get Bruno Fernandes, and we didn't sanction the deal. And this is the same thing again. It's like it pretty much a player had agreed in principle everything, just like Romero's agreed things in principle, and just like they're so close to this valuation, it's so close. FC we were so close in the Champions League final. Like we got to the Champions League final, we didn't win it. We always
that's what it is, Danny. I'm with you on that. My brain is agreeing with you from the experience and everything, but myself as a fan, as a Spurs fan, my heart's always going to be looking at the things that are possible. I'm always going to be looking at that very thin line of possibility rather than the vast bulk of reality. I personally believe that we're at that situation now where we've burnt so many bridges, right? That they don't have a choice, right? Look, this guy that we got as a manager, he used to be a goalkeeper, right? He knows that in order for him to survive in the Premier League, he's going to need a defense in front of the goalkeeping section. He knows that. We've just lost Toby. There's no way that him and Paratici can go into this season without bringing a centre back in, whether that's Romero or the other guy. I think the Japanese guy, whoever it is. Whoever it is, he needs to bring them in, and maybe Levy can turn around and use this as a ploy to say, "Oh well, look, I tried to bring in a big signing."
This is the thing, right?
That's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. And
look at 55 million, but bring in a 15 million pound player.
This is what will happen. If you look at Scott M's comment, right? Do you wanna, can you bring that one up, Eugene? That this one, right? So he's saying obviously he thinks the deal will go through, right? But what he says, where it says makes too much sense for both teams for the deal not to go through. The problem is Daniel Levy makes no sense in what he does. This is the problem. This is the problem. Every single time something is too good to be true with Tottenham. If that was any other big club, it always happens, always goes through. But Tottenham, whenever it's too good to be true, it always is the case. It never happens. And that's the problem. And no matter who's in charge, no matter what director of football we've got, Paratici can do all he wants. Like he can work as hard as he can to try and get the deal. But if at the end of the day, the one who's sanctioning the deal, who's signing on the dotted line, it's not Paratici, it's Daniel Levy, because he's the one that controls the finances at Tottenham, not Paratici. And he's the one that says he's the one that controls the accounts because he's an accountant. That's what he is. So if he's not sanctioning the money to come out of Tottenham Hotspur's a bank account, then it's not going to happen, and that's the problem. And this is where when for me where I first felt kind of, I was always the 50-50 on it. I was always like, I never heightened my expectations because I know what Spurs are like, yeah. But the first time for me where I really felt it wasn't happening is when I saw that option A and option B thing. As soon as I saw that, I was like, no, I know what's happening now. They're giving all these fans this hope, right? They're giving all these fans this hope, like we're so close, we're still in talks, we're gonna have talks again tonight, we're gonna have talks again here.
Wait till Monday.
The player really wants to join. The player really wants to join. Next week, you're going to know. Next week. And then next week comes and we don't know. Next week's going to happen. It's going to happen. Wait till Monday. And now DiMarzio's coming out today and saying that talks have stalled. Like, this is inevitable, man. What's going to happen is the player's not going to come because they're not going to find an agreement, whether it's Tottenham not wanting to pay what they want and also not wanting to wait at the same time, right? And then what will happen is we'll go for like Milenkovic and Tomiyasu and get them two in instead. And for me, that I'll be so disappointed with that, because the fact that you're trying to go for the best centre back in Serie A, you've just sold Toby Alderweireld, who's probably do a better job than the other two, because the other two are coming into a Premier League where they never played before. They never played in the Premier League before, so you can't say they're going to come in and hit the ground running straight away. And for all we know, they could be turned left, right, and centre by all the Premier League strikers and and playmakers in the league.
They will be.
Cool. This
They
is the
will
thing.
be.
Like, they're not going to be used to the pace of the English game. It's very different to the Italian game. But the difference with Romero is he's got that mentality. He's a level above them in terms of his ability wise, like, and his aggression. And like, from what I've seen and what I've read about the three players, Tomiyasu probably, I think, will do a better job than, say, Milenkovic would, even though I like them both. But you need someone like Romero in there because he's a leader. He's a big guy. He's an animal, man. We need an animal at the back. We need someone who's going to do the dirty work as well. And he's like your modern day centre back as well. He's intelligent. And yeah, if we don't get him,
Danny, I think you got a point there. I think last time when we spoke about these two particular players, right? Yeah, Milenkovic and Tommy. Can't get his long name out. But when we spoke about these particular players, we already had Toby in our team.
Exactly.
So what we were doing is we were the idea was we wanted to bring in centre backs that would supplement what we already existingly have. Now we've got rid of our best, so therefore we have to bring someone like a Romero in. If we don't do that, oh my days! This is a Levy maneuver.
You know what the worst?
This is a Levy maneuver.
You know what the worst thing is, right?
Guys, the tell the truth, right? To tell the truth, right? First of all, to Bobby's feelings about Hitchin, right? I believe it's not his fault. Okay, it's always Levy's fault. That's why if it really was Hitchin's fault, right? Hitchin be fired by now. Don't you think so? Yeah, he'll be fired. He'll be gone by now, right? All right. And it comes down to this scenario again. Why don't we just go out, get in Tomiyasu, and get in Milenkovic early, and just drop the bloody Romero dance? You get what I'm saying? Stop the dancing around, stop the smoke and mirrors, get the defenders in.
But you know those guys that happen to be Levy in people, right? Yeah, and you know those guys that sit on the fence, right? Yeah, these are the type of things that will happen in the media and the news that will pacify them.
Yes, I know.
Okay, the thing is with us, right? Yeah, we've seen too much. We've seen too much, and we know too much.
I think Daniel has to go. You got to leave soon, Daniel? All right.
Yeah, I gotta go, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Shout out to your channel.
Yeah, you guys can find me at the Yid Kid. I'm actually soon when the channel starts getting more subscribers, I'm gonna be moving on to the Spurs Kid channel because of the
monetization.
Monetization. I can't use the word Yid on the name of my channel. But I'll be moving on to that channel when the channel starts getting more subscribers. For now, that's where I'm gonna start doing my live streams. But the videos are all gonna be on the channel that I'm at right now. But most importantly, though, make sure everybody subscribes to the Spursuation. Let's get them to 100 subscribers before the season starts.
Thank you, Danny.
Yeah, big up.
Thanks for coming on, Daniel.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend, mate.
Big up, Daniel, man.
Big up, mate.
Good to see you, Daniel.
Can I just read something from what Ledley Kings just said with regards to? Oops.
Is it what? Is it? Oh, where's he gone?
Okay.
He's got an internet issue. That's an internet issue.
That's probably Levy putting the plug out. Like he's trying to talk dirty.
You know what it is, Danny? Danny, sometimes, right? Yeah, it's like, you know, human beings, we just want to like sometimes like dream a little bit, hope a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think Levy and his 20 years of infiltrating the media and everything connected to Spurs, he's created this type of environment which puffs our passion. And maybe for some of us die-hard fans, we've finally gone over the hill. We've seen too much, and now we know the type of games that he plays. But even me, for example, I'm hopeful. And where does that hope come from? It comes from the same type of motto that we have for the club, to dare is to do. We want to dare. Even as a fan, I want to dare to believe that this can happen. But the reality is, you're right, Danny. It's a game. If we were serious about Romero, one, we would have kept it hush, and secondly, we would have got it over the line by now.
Well, this is the thing, right? So, like, you hear all these things that they try to say that they want to do things behind the scenes. Like, if they really wanted to, I'm sure they could have kept the Romero stuff quiet. Like, if they really, really wanted to, right? The reason why they're doing it is for that exact reason. So they're trying to make it. It's this illusion that Daniel Levy does every single fucking year. It's this illusion where he makes. It's the perception of thinking, like telling the Spurs fans that I'm going for these type of players. I'm going for the best of the best sort of thing. But then when it comes down to it, it's the same old thing where like Eugene said earlier, it's like we get so close and then, oh, sorry, we just couldn't do a deal. We just couldn't do it. So we're going to get this player instead. He's on our list as well anyway. but we're going to get him because we couldn't do it. So, and it's that feeling every single time. And then it's just like Joe Roden. No disrespect to Joe Roden, right? Because I think he'll be a good player, but he's not Skriniar. And it's like you send Hitchin to Milan to do the deal. You tell him what you're going to pay. They try to do a deal, and they try to kind of do one and do the dirty on Inter Milan by trying to do a cheap deal. And they're like, no, pay up or you don't get him. And they were trying it, and then they didn't get it. And they had to wait till the extended window to get Roden in. They didn't actually get anyone in the normal window. So it's just like they just got someone for the sake of it. And I'm not saying they wasted £11 million, but if you didn't buy Roden, right? Because we hardly used him last season. Let's be real, right? That £11 million could have gone for Romero this season, just for example. It's just like another thing again. Jack Clark, £10 million wasted there. That could have been Romero's money. Like literally, we're about 3 million short apparently from what they're saying.
Yeah, but that's if Levy had the idea of bringing these players in for incorporation into the team, that they'd become solid players. Rather, he brings in people like, for example, Jack Clark. Everybody knew that when he brought Jack Clark in, right, that he was basically saying, I'm investing and buying an investment. I'm going to wait for it to grow. And then I'm going to sell it off for like 40 million, 50 million.
This is the problem.
Right? And there's nothing to do with integrating into our team.
Yeah, I know,
right?
but
so here we have
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to say something, right? The problem is, with that is that to have someone like Jack Clark and spend 10 million on him to be able, now, if you're talking about business, right? You're talking about an investment. In an investment, you have to nurture the investment in order for it to grow, right? So you'd have to nurture the player in this sense. And when I say nurture, I mean he has to be performing, he has to be playing week in, week out, right? He hasn't done that. He's been here 2 years or nearly, and he hasn't done that once. Not even on loan, he hasn't done that. So the guy is not progressing. So it's like you're buying a property, right? You're buying an investment, and you're not putting any time or effort into it, and it's staying stagnant. It's stagnated because you're not nurturing it, right? So you're losing.
Year.
Yeah, exactly.
No, Danny, what you said last year was that Levy is not a great businessman.
No, he's not.
Because he would know, even if he brought him in as an investment, he would know how to nurture and grow him as an investment in order to sell him. This guy clearly is not doing that with these players.
No, so, this is the thing. So it's like what they're doing is they're wasting money, and it's like, and if this deal doesn't go through, it will always prove to me that no matter what happens, it's never going to change. It will solidify that even more. Yeah,
Danny, they already admitted that they wasted £250 million.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
or misspent on bad player investment. Right. That's why maybe after all the noise from the fans, right, what Levy has done is he's brought in a director of football because
but he's an expert of making excuses. This is what the guy is. The reason why he released that message, right, was to show those fans which are either on the fence or that are on the other side in terms of Levy. He's showing them, look, I was spending money. We didn't necessarily spend it on the best things. I'll do better next year. And every year, I'll do better next year. This guy is an expert at making excuses to managers, to coaches, to fans, to the media. I mean, this whole retracted contract negotiation that he had with Conte was blatant. Why introduce the man to your negotiating desk, if you're not willing to put investment on the table?
Yeah.
And he got called out. Now he went from Conte to Nuno, which is exactly what you would do if you had no intention of putting that investment on the table. This is what you would do. The thing was, I was talking to Eugene about this earlier, and one of the things that confused me some time ago, while this manager search was going on, because I haven't had a chance to be in the streams and everything to talk about it, is when Nuno was talking to Palace in the middle of a negotiation that he was given a really good offer, and all he had to do was sign on the dotted line. He pulled out of the negotiation. Now, at the time, everyone thought he's pulled out because he's going to go to Everton, right? The reality is he came to London to do an interview. So who's to say behind the scenes it wasn't Spurs that turned around and said, listen, hang around, mate. His agent saying, hey, go and have an extra cup of coffee because this Conte thing's never going to happen. But they're going to need someone to come in and take his place. Yeah. And that's exactly what I believe. I'm now convinced of it after having spoken to Eugene this morning about it, that this whole setup of the manager search was deliberately elongated to take the pressure and the steam out of all the fans so that they would say, oh, finally, we've got a manager. Yeah. Finally. I mean, look, I'm backing Nuno. I'm 100%. He's our manager now.
That's what I've been saying. If in 1 month ago or 6 weeks ago, if we had gotten Nuno in before this, right, our transfer dealings and all that would have been much smoother. You've been able to, Nuno would have time to actually pick out who he wants, who he doesn't want. But now,
yeah, but people would have been against it though.
No, yeah, I understand that, but you must see now that Nuno comes in at such a tight window, right? He has no choice. You know, I'm sure Nuno knows who is the deadwood, who needs to go out. You know, we haven't seen Aurier, we haven't seen Sissoko, right? Of course, we had a glimpse of Hugo, but Hugo has not played, right? Kane is not back because of the holidays that he's entitled to because after the Euros and all that. But you know, a lot of the players that we wanted out first didn't go out, right? Top of the list of the deadwood didn't leave, but who left? Toby left, okay? Lamela left, but Lamela left because of a swap deal for Hill, right? Okay, they are trying to get rid of Sanchez in a swap deal because now I think Sevilla is supposed to be interested in Sanchez, correct? So now maybe what Levy's waiting now is, right, to sell off Sanchez, get a bit of cash, and hopefully maybe throw it into the Romero deal. But the thing is that if the Romero deal doesn't go through, he still sells Sanchez, right? He still pays off Tomiyasu and Milinkovic, right? Like I'm saying, why don't, like Bob was saying earlier in his stream, he was saying, why don't you just bring in Milinkovic and Tomiyasu now and say it's done, right? And drop the Romero smoke and mirrors. That's it. And at least we know where we stand, right? At the moment now, Lamela leaving, Toby leaving has not strengthened our squad. It's weakened our squad at least by another 30%, right? Correct? So
yeah,
why are we still stalling, right? And with the Kane issue, okay, right, if he's leaving, right, why aren't we targeting a striker? But don't forget, Sonny renewed his contract. So maybe there was a deal that Sonny will be pushed up in the striker position, for all we know.
The thing is, it's an insensitive position to be. Look, it's media sensitive for Kane, for Levy to be showing his hand that he's trying to negotiate a move for Kane, right? So it's being talked about here and there, but it's not really serious. It's not something that can be done. That's the thing. I think Danny's absolutely right. I don't think Kane is going to leave. I think our dreams of having Kane and Sonny in the same team are going to come true. The contract negotiation for Sonny was quite simple. As soon as Bale left and wasn't going to come back, that huge chunk of money could go into Sonny's wages. And that's what they were negotiating for absolute, 18 months? Was how much wages am I going to get? How long is the contract? Is it going to be the top whack? And that's what Sonny's got that. He's happy. You know, Sonny didn't want to leave. He's got, you know, everyone talked about it like he needs to leave to get trophies and everything. No, Sonny's got to where he wants to get to. He's the top player in our club. He's a top player in the league. And if he comes in Champions League, you know, he's got international global brand recognition already. So the way I look at it is that it was all about the money with Sonny. Nothing to do with trophies. With Kane, it's a different matter. With Kane, it is about the trophies. He's got the money already. He's got the money. But the problem is, with the contract negotiation that's going on, and with other teams not being able to afford the big money, it puts Levy in a situation where he can keep hold of Kane. You know, it's a hard one, because at the end of the day, we're not going to know how the dice fall until 31st of August, right?
Yeah, 1st of September.
Listen, guys, I got to make a move out of here.
Yeah.
It's Sunday afternoon. You know, lunch and everything's got to be it's well past lunch now for me.
Yeah.
Just one thing, Just one thing, Khalid. This might be a portent of things to come, but I've just turned over the page on the Spurs calendar, and August is. Yeah. Is that
everything okay, Bobby?
Mate,
everything okay, Bobby?
Just
disappear for okay, so shall I sign off then, or what?
Basically,
enjoy your lunch. Think of us missing. Think of us missing that
piss off
Sunday lunch.
Right, now that I've been given the official piss off, right, by Bobby, I want to make a move. Listen, everyone out there that's watching right now, that's all of you guys out there, please do like and subscribe this channel. If you can see Bobby over here, you know, go and increase his viewership. Go and click like on him. And Danny over here, he's got a new channel which I haven't gotten around to doing yet.
You haven't had the new news. Danny, tell him.
It's been a while. That's on hold for the time being. I've got a new job now, so it's very time consuming. So
and congratulations to Danny.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Cheers. No, thank you very much. It's nice to see you, Mr. K, man. It's been a while.
Look, honestly, guys, I missed you guys. I wanted to come back stronger. I wanted to come back a little bit more clearer. I wanted to come back with a suntan and a new trim beard.
I didn't see. Looks like Nuno.
He's gone Nuno. He's gone Nuno.
Yeah.
He's gone Nuno.
Hey,
Listen, guys.
You have to do a buzz cut then.
Yeah.
But no, I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna continue where I left off. But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do certain things in a slightly different way. The Tuesday night shows, which I have at Will Stewart's TFSC Rants channel, I'm gonna be changing the name of the show, which I'm gonna be creating. I'm creating a new show. Let's Talk to K. Is it Talk to K or just Let's Talk to K? I've forgotten the full name, but eventually I'll get it.
Talk to K.
It's not just me. It's not just me. I'm doing
yeah.
He needs his lunch. He needs his lunch. Yeah, Special K. Yeah.
Basically, now that I'm back, you know, I really want to like get back to supporting you guys. Danny, I know it's a bit. Danny, you know, you've been one of the most supportive people out there as well with that channel. Yeah. So really appreciate what you do as well. But all the viewers out there, you know, do try other people's channels. Have a look to see what else is available. If you haven't come across Bob Spur channel or the Irish Hotspur channel or Matt Hayes channel or Tottenham Away. In fact, there's loads of them now. We should start creating an index for them. But I do believe the vast majority of you out there have joined all these channels. But any of you guys that haven't, you know, think about putting some comments into the chat just to let people know that you're there. Give you 2 pence. We value your opinions, even if it's opinions that we don't agree with. You know, if you look at some of the channel streams that we've done, there's been people in the panels that we terribly disagree with, but we do engage with them. And I think that's important for the viewing public out there. Guys, if you want to tell me to piss off one last time, I'm off. Come on, you Spurs!
Come on, Bob. Come on, Bob. Give it to him.
Good old piss off, mate.
With that, adios. Come on, you Spurs.
Go on,
yeah.
Guys.
That's the wrong button.
Yeah, piss off.
No, he doesn't. You don't have. He doesn't have the controlling button. All right.
No. Bit like Paratici.
Yeah, a bit like Paratici. Yeah, guys. To tell the truth, thanks for your support for coming on. I think any more things that you all want to put in before we just plug in your channels and all that.
Yeah, I had a good stream yesterday. Danny was there. Thanks for popping on, mate. First
you should
one
have been
that I had.
watching. You should have closed the door. You should have closed the door if you had a good stream.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Remember what your catchphrase is.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was great. Really fantastic viewing, record viewings, and Bob Spur TV at the moment, just one show a week, every Saturday, 10 o'clock. I've got a funny feeling I'll be doing something this week with the hopefully some transfers coming in and out, and of course you guys are always.
What do you mean the failed Romero transfer news?
Yeah, probably, mate. I don't want to think about it.
We've got to get Levy to take the handbrake off and start moving.
I reckon we're going to see some stuff, Jamie, tomorrow. Like, I think we're going to see our talks have now broken down and all this kind of crap.
Kane definitely
Spurs,
leaving.
Yeah, all the Spurs Twitter's going to go absolutely or go on a mad one tomorrow, and it's going to go on a meltdown. And
effectively that's saying
400 messages on the Spurs family chat.
We need signings. We don't just need paper talk and Levy BS.
Well, do you know what? Right, I'll tell you one thing. If it doesn't happen, then if fans cannot see that Paratici will not make a difference, then they're all blind. Every single one of them is blind because
Danny.
You bring in Paratici to get these type of players in. He's opened the door. He's because of his contacts, right? He's got the pretty much ready to do an agreement, and Daniel Levy turns around and goes, "I'm not going to do the extra £3 million."
Yeah,
it's just, do you know what I mean? It's like
no. The sad part is right. A big part of our fan base, right? That you said, we've been up and down, right? We've all become deluded. Any little news that is positive, ding dong again. See? But any little news that is positive,
trademark that.
any little news that is positive brings all our hopes up.
Exactly.
Okay, that is the thing. So, like I said, the Levy brand vaccine, you have to take it. I think Danny has taken it, so I've taken it for a long time. So I'm very cool about whatever happens. It happens. Like Bob say, right? Holding the shirt in the stadium, playing, then we will believe it. For me, I've always said it, right? At the club, in the shirt, or at the club, in the jersey, then I'll believe it. But when it comes down to it, you guys, thanks a lot for supporting me. And Danny, have you got anything last words to put in before we end the stream?
I can end the stream rather than just get us ticking over a bit for another 10 minutes.
I just hope we sign some players that might make a difference, but we'll see what happens. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Right, guys. To tell the truth, this is one of my best shows at the moment. We've hit about my record viewers. It's not a lot, but it's 23. Wicked, right? But we're still building it for this section of the Spurs family, which I'm trying to bring more people in, and sometimes bring in what I call fans from other clubs, especially from Asia side, to have a sit down and talk. Like what Mr. K said, we're all football fans. We all love the game. It's the club that we support. Even though it's not the same club, we can still have dialogue, conversation in what I call civilized manner, right? I will just take Bobby and Danny off the screen for a while I do my outros. And if you guys are still free, just hang on at the back for a while, then we can continue our chat behind.
Big up, mate. I'm going to get some dinner anyway. Big up, mate.
All
Good
right.
luck. Come on, you Spurs.
Come
Piss
on,
off,
you
Spurs.
Yay.
Oh, sorry. See you. Come on, you Spurs.
Hey.
Come on, you Spurs.
Okay. All right.
Hello, buddy.
All right. Okay, Jamie. Good stream today. Had our record viewers. I'm not sure whether we add any subscribers. I haven't checked on it, and I usually don't say. Very seldom I say to subscribe and smash a like and all that. But if you are still out there watching the recorded version, please smash a like. Please subscribe. Right. I'll try to bring on more fans from the Spurs side in Asia side, and of course the Spurs fans from the rest of the world that joins me every Sunday 1 p.m. GMT. But like I said, once the season starts, we might have to change the times a bit to suit the what I call the stream. Yes, Jamie.
Well, let's hope that, like Spurs persuasion, Tottenham can start moving in the right direction finally. I think because of who we've had on tonight, or this afternoon, wherever you are, that we're moving. We are moving in the right direction. We're getting the quality of production and opinion that is where we want to be going.
Correct.
I just hope that Spurs doesn't just play the same old record, and because what we do, we have a bit more positive news, and then we just gravitate back to the same old. So let's hope that just like Spurssuasion with its new tune of bringing fans from other clubs into the discussion, Spurs can play a new tune in the coming week.
Yeah. So let's say, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. TTID.